All right, guys, welcome to episode 161 of the Drag Driver Pete Show presented by Summit Racing. Tonight, we've got huge guests. We've got Paul Sakalas of the On All Cylinders podcast, Summit Racing. We're going to talk about him, actually, which is going to be kind of interesting for him because he's usually the one doing the interviewing. So that'll be kind of fun to hear some of his stories and all that kind of fun stuff. And then we've got results from Heads Up Hustle and Pistons in the Pines, which had an incredible event. And then we're going to end the show. We're going to have the Havliks on. We've got Brian and Jess Havlik on for Havlik's fastest streetcar shootout event, which happens literally in how many days there? 8?
Yeah.
No, I'll be on site next Wednesday. So 8 days starts off then. I'm really excited about that. So a lot of stuff. So get comfortable, get ready. Let's kick this thing off, sir.
All right, let's go.
All right, guys, welcome to episode 161 of the Drag Driver Pete Show presented by Summit Racing. Dude, I'm excited about tonight. My name is Mike Narks, host of the show and the news that happens on Saturday mornings. And we will be back this Saturday morning with a news episode because I'm working on getting some Heads Up Hustle folks in here, some of the racers in here to talk about their experience. And my right-hand man, my co-host, tell them what you got going on, sir.
I am Eric White, co-host of the show and news, and lately really just trying to button up this engine for the Mustang so we can go and have a little fun on some drag and drives ourselves.
Bro, bring it on. I cannot wait. I've been debating actually entering the old truck in the drag and drive just to jack-a-lack around with it some and kind of do some of that stuff. So, well, you know how we start the show every time, guys. We appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for being a race car friends. Thank you for being here tonight. And if you're watching this later, thank you for just watching. We appreciate all the support and stuff like that you guys give us. It was really cool to hang out this last weekend with all of our friends there at Heads Up Hustle. It's like the third year I've announced there. So you get to see those people over and over and over again. It gets to be kind of fun and it's kind of interesting. I can't imagine what it's going to be like when I have 10 years of experience at that one event in my notes. You know, I've begun to move my notes over to a Google Doc so I can have them for next year and do all that kind of fun stuff. So guys, hit that share button as we move into this. And of course, our sponsors, y'all, we cannot do this without these folks. So if you're doing some shopping, I say this all the time, please hit these folks up, see if they've got something you are looking for. And, I'm sure Summit Racing probably does because we know how that goes. They've got, well, we'll ask Paul here in a minute, but there's like millions of SKUs in there, I'm sure. But Summit Racing, of course, title sponsor here at the show, the news and the circuit, our largest premier event. And of course, Deechworks, the official fuel delivery of Drag Driver Pete, and title sponsor for the short circuit coming up and the racer party sponsor for the circuit 2026, but also in conversation about 2027 already. I can't wait. It's going to be exciting. Molly Motorsports, Driven Racing Oil, of course, both of those brands living inside the engine you've got and hopefully living inside the engine people out there have too. Howard's Cams, Luke B and the boys over there at Howard's Cams, just awesome, man. Valve train specialist and the official valve train of Drag Driver Pete, J-Wire Solutions, all kinds of cool shit. Just, all over the place. Really freaking awesome. And they just finished Judgment Day from Drop the Hammer, which we're going to talk about on Saturday as well. Avco Racing products, not just suspension. They got cooling, brakes, all kinds of different stuff. Performance Belt Transmissions, the best GM transmission builder on the planet. If you can put a 5,100-pound car in the tens with twin turbos and a 4L60, dude, you're doing something right with your life. Car Change 3D, of course, 3D printed products for all of your race cars, and not just stuff that is not just keychains like we used to talk about now, like complete dashes and everything like that. And of course, Low Dollar Motorsports, all the data and all the sensors you could possibly need for your stuff. What's up, Dan Chandler? Let's move into some Summit stuff. We're going to actually start the show with a guest. I'm kind of excited about this to be right away on a guest. I've been kind of wanting to do this for a little bit, so we're going to see how this works and see how it performs as time goes on. It just is not going to let us get right into our notes and everything like that right away. So let's hear what Brian Loans has to say about Summit, then we'll get to Paul Sakalas.
What does it mean to be built with Summit? It means you're hitting the autocross, drag strip, road course, trail, dirt, or open road with confidence. Because built with Summit means you're using parts from the top names in performance, priced to make your project affordable. And it's all backed by trusted tech expertise and blazing fast shipping. Summit Racing Equipment. Let's build it together. SummitRacing.com.
Now, before we bring Paul on, I do want to say it's very weird having a conversation with someone that you've listened to. I mean, I don't know, 100 hours of podcasts of him, as much windshield time as I have, or airplane time, like over the weekend. I usually pop in a podcast and learn while I'm doing whatever I'm doing, right? And so it's weird to I met him in person at Power Tour, had a great time there, but it's really strange. So now I see what everybody out there gets if they're listening to this, It's very weird seeing us in person and getting all that, like that back and forth and being like, oh my gosh, this person that I've listened to all this time is now talking to us. So let's bring on Mr. Paul Sakalas. What do we say you do? Like, are you you're the head content creator for On All Cylinders? What's your chief marketing? What do you got?
It's my full title is technically senior content marketing strategist, which is a really fancy way to say I'm part of the team that comes up with ideas, whether they're a video episode or whether it's a blog article or a podcast episode, just whatever's out there. I've got to kind of keep my finger on the pulse of every trend, not just drag and drive, but autocross and restorations, hot rodding, that whole community. I got to keep an eye on everything and make sure we're talking in a relevant way to our audiences.
Yeah, for sure. I can't imagine. We're going to get into some of that as well as we get kind of into this conversation, which I'm excited about because it's funny listening to you. You kind of do what we do. We don't really talk about ourselves very much, but I kind of want to get into some of that tonight. So, I guess basically you answered my first question, which was like who you are and what you do and what that means. So I just want to hit you right out of the gate. Was 11-year-old Paul, was he a car guy?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Full disclosure. So I grew up, my father he passed away a couple of months ago, but he bought a 1972 Chevy Corvette used in 1973. And so he has this, and I always joke that it was the cheapest Corvette you could have optioned out in 1972. So no power steering, no power brakes. Manual transmission. Was the wide ratio M20 Muncie, 350 ZQ3 car. And he bought that in 1973 and he daily drove it up into the early 90s.
Wow. How cool.
It was cool getting dropped off for soccer practice, but, and dropped off for school and all the events. But the interesting part was, that was an old car even back then. I'm a late Gen Xer. So, you think of driving a car, we're this is Ohio, right? So you get 100-degree summers, you get snowstorms in the winter, you get thunderstorms, traffic jams, all the trappings that come with a daily driven commute. And my old man's driving this old Corvette through all of it. And so what happens, it's just an old Chevy at that point. And so you all get dropped off for soccer practice and all my friends are like, oh, what's an amazing car. And I kind of mutter, yeah, but you weren't the one, fixing a thermostat last night at 9:30 at night. Right. So, 11-year-old Paul was definitely a gearhead. I was forced into it by my father who made me hold the flashlight and, this before the internet. Right. So we'd go to libraries and check out books on how to fix the car. In addition, we had the factory service manuals. I grew up wrenching on cars, old Chevys. Without a doubt. 11-year-old Paul was into cars.
How many do you have? Your brothers and sisters?
I have an older sister. Yeah, and that's the funny story. Going back to the Corvette,
right? Like dads did that then.
So the story goes, the legend has it, is that my father and his dad, my grandfather, got in an argument when my arrived in the late 70s. And my brother was very, telling your father, now you've got to sell this darn Corvette and get a station wagon. And so that was it. He resolved the only way he was able to he couldn't have a third car, a bonus car, a fun car. He had to make that Corvette his daily driver up until the point in our lives where we could afford an extra car.
That's so cool. Like, think about how, Eric, when you had kids, did you get rid of a fun car?
I actually, I had a really nice single cab OBS pickup truck that I ended up getting rid of. And to this day, I wish I never did.
Yeah. How cool. Yeah, man, guys did that. Like, there'd be a kid laying in the back window of that thing. And like, they drove those cars. And I can't imagine in Ohio, like what's that like when you get 12 inches of snow?
Well, and he was a broadcaster too. He was a chief engineer for a television station. So he had to be at work he taught me, in addition to teaching me about cars, he taught me a lot about how to mutter profanities while you're working on the car.
Yeah, that's something you learned very early on, holding that flashlight.
Yeah. Well, that leads us into the next question. What was your first vehicle?
Well, it was Chevy family. So folks who were around in the 80s can appreciate what the Chevrolet Celebrity wagon was.
Oh,
Celebrity, it was a front wheel drive. It was the midsize, kind of replaced the Chevelle, I guess. It was their midsize, but it could be coupe, sedan, and a wagon. And my dad bought it new, and it was a Chevy Eurosport station wagon it was dark blue, red pinstripe, had a little wing on the back. It was a good looking car.
Yeah.
I didn't get to drive it for another decade and a half after, 10 and a half years of, family vacations. And, so it had holes in the wall with rust. It blew an engine. It was a 2.8 liter MPFI car. So we had to put a new engine in it. So it wasn't even a cool car brand new, but like by the time I got it, it was a Rusto wagon, but I loved it.
That's an interesting first car for a gearhead car guy. You know what I mean? Like, how many times did you think I could put a rear axle in this thing? I could just cut this thing up in a weekend.
Well, I would joke because, it was the 2.8 it's their 60-degree V6 that Chevy made $1 billion of, in various displacements. And it was also happened to be the same base model V6 you could get in the F-body Camaro at that time. So I always tell people, oh yeah, it's got a Camaro engine in it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Just wrong wheel drive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's interesting.
Well, give us a little bit of history between the time that you got your very first car and then how you ended up working with Summit on all cylinders.
Oh yeah, that's so I was from Ohio, but I moved out to the East Coast and I met my wife. She lived in New York City at the time, and so we were living out in Virginia Beach of all places. And I was in professional broadcasting at that time, kind of following in my dad's footsteps. So we both kind of got tired of Virginia. Ever lived in a place or even with a car, you love it, and then like you wake up one day and you're like, I think I'm going to sell it. I think I'm going to move. We all go through that. So the decision was made that my wife and I, we looked at each other one morning and said, let's move. And so she was applying for a job in Northeast Ohio. I was applying for a job in Portland, Oregon, and we decided that whoever got the first offer, that's where we're going to go. And sure enough, she got the offer. So I wound up in Northeast Ohio, Akron, Ohio, without a gig. I worked out kind of a tenuous remote thing, but it wasn't. So long story short, Summit Racing was hiring for an advertising writer. And I had a little bit of advertising experience. And at the time, I was really into, a late Gen Xer. I was really into the sport compact scene. Mm-hmm. So Nissan at the time, back when Nissan had its swagger, they had the GTR, the R32, R34 GTRs, they had the 350, the Z32, 300ZX. So they had a hot version of the Sentra, and it was called the SER, and a manual transmission, limited slip, front wheel drive, but still an absolute hoot. And so I had one of those. I still have it to this day. It's rusting in my driveway. But so I had been working on that, like coilover, just the full trappings of the sport compact, coilovers. I had a sway bar on it, intake, short shift kit. So I submitted all my forum threads. Remember when forum threads blew up? I submitted I applied to the job and I said, well, I know a lot about cars and here's all my forums about here's how I replaced this part. Here's how I did this. Here's, I took off the plenum and then readjusted the butterflies and stuff. And that's sure enough how I got the job. They kind of said, well, you know what you're talking about and everything else you can learn on the way. So joined the advertising department and slowly transitioned up. This is still back in the dawn of the internet. Probably 10, 15. I've been with the company 15-ish years. And so the internet was still kind of a new thing. We didn't know how e-commerce work. People still didn't really know how search engine marketing was. So we were just launching this content initiative. And I got brought up in sort of the ground floor to write for On All Cylinders and to write emails and to write web copy. And the rest, as they say, is history. Now I'm doing this jazz and talking to you fine folks.
Dude, that's crazy. How important is copywriting to folks that are like Eric and I?
Well, and that's it. And that's why, this hobby, this profession, this passion that we all have is really tough to fake. I think we've all read articles where it's a tech post or it's an article about a car, and you can kind of tell it's been, especially nowadays, when you can kind of tell it's been written by AI. There's no soul in it. Yeah. If you write a story about how to fix a starter, you kind of got to draw upon that time I was in my Chevy and the darn thing would decide to hit it with a hammer to get it off the dead spot on the starter, right?
Yeah.
Moments like that come through in your writing, and it shapes the way you write. It shapes the way you craft a story. We've all cranked over a distributor to make sure we're pinging, so we backed off the timing. If you've never done that in person, it's really tough to write about. It doesn't stop people from writing about it, and that's where you can get into trouble. Especially if you talk about ignition timing, someone just and all of a sudden you're burning holes in your pistons.
Yeah, they don't know what the sound of a ping means, so they're like, "Oh, it's fine. I don't hear anything." Yeah, that means we got all of it in there.
And that's one of the things that Summit, one of our slogans that we've adopted recently is it's powered by enthusiasts. And that's really it transcends the whole company. But for a lot of the forward facing, a lot of the customer facing stuff, it's 100% underlined with an exclamation point because, the internet can smell a phony. And we want to make sure that we're being as 100% authentic as possible. We can recommend parts because we've got them on our own cars. We can offer advice and troubleshooting techniques. Just from slice of life, like I went through this, so I'm going to tell you about it. Right. Yeah. And so that's,
and you almost have to do it in your own voice, because if you write eloquently and then they meet you in person, they're like, wait a minute. That's not how that dude was talking. So yeah, voice to text has become my friend. And then I clean it up from there, make it, actually sentences.
It's really interesting. Word choice is very interesting too, especially in a world where you use text to write things. Well, you obviously use text to write things, but to describe things. And one of the examples I always fall back on is a check light, right? When you're just checking for 12 volts, you got the wand and you got the alligator clip and you touch it. What do you call that? Some people call it a probe. Some people call it a checker. Some people call it a test light. You got to be very careful about how you describe it, because if you describe it in the wrong way, no one will be able to search for it and find it in the internets, right?
Yeah.
And that's just an easy example, but there's hundreds. LS, everyone, if the internet was telling you the truth, GM didn't make anything other than the LS1. They made it in 1997, and every engine, LS engine since, has been a 5.7 liter LS1.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's the best one, no matter what.
Oh, yeah.
Tommy Dupree says, I would need a Southern AI translator.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Well, man, that's really cool. That kind of leads into how do you find stories? Because that's what Eric and I struggle with really a lot. And I promise we're going to get back to fun stuff, but that's what we struggle with. There's so many stories you can tell. There's so much stuff, especially like for us, we're just looking drag and drive centric stuff, but you're looking at everything. Like the other day you had what was the article about the 90s?
Just the GM, the performance bargains of the 90s, right?
Like, how do you come up with things? Is there just a whiteboard and every time it's like in the hallway and every time somebody walks by, they're like, you know what? Like Tommy Dupree's writing, S95 builds on there.
Well, yes, he's a Mustang man. Well, it's interesting. It happens a couple ways, but a lot of times, like I said, I've got a garage full of machines that are leaking oil right now. I'm a nerd for motorcycles, specifically early 70 Honda motorcycles. I got an old Jeep. I got that Nissan Sport Compact. I've got the Corvette. And so when you drive those cars, as you know better than anybody, stuff breaks. Or stuff happens, and then you have to discover what happened and how to fix it. And you may find that, oh man, I went to YouTube, there wasn't a video about it. I couldn't find a forum thread about this problem. I had to solve a problem by myself. And then so bam, that gets pinned right up there. Well, pen something up and have it ready in 2 weeks. A perfect example is I was amazed. I had a blower motor resistor blow out in just my regular daily driver car, and I was like, it seems like a blower motor resistor. Let me go to the internet and find out. And sure enough, there was nothing there. And I wrote a story on here's how to troubleshoot a blower motor resistor. I pulled it out, I showed how it works, and I had the multimeter on it and you check your voltage and continuity. And sure enough, it's become a really popular article because people have that same problem and are looking for it. Yeah. And that's really, whether we sell a billion blower motor resistors or not, we want to help people, right? We want to get cars back on the road. And so that's as much as we love to talk about, straight axle gasser 55 post cars, doing nines. A humble story about a blower motor resistor might have more value to the average customer. Yeah.
They're reading it for, because you almost have to ride the line of like entertainment and, technical advice.
Yeah, and we do a good job of that, I think. It was always the edict that our primary job is to inform and teach people how to do things, right? But we will write our top 10 racing video games, our top 10 cars from cartoon series, right? Like that's also our jam. We can do that.
That's awesome. And you have a pretty healthy list of folks that are over there too. Like you may be like the guy over there most of the time that I pay the most attention to, but there's a lot of guys on the page. I'll pull that up real quick just because I grabbed some stuff here. I mean, like this is from articles, right? So, basically talking about all the fun stuff. You got podcasts, of course, easy way to find that there. And then videos of stuff you've got down through there. Oh, no, that's our products. I'm into products from us. But yeah, the website is put together well. I thought I had all the authors put up there as well, but
and that's the beauty of it. I mean, again, powered by enthusiasts. We got just a fleet of employees, and they're in various wings of the company, accounting, retail. And they say, oh, you know what? I'm having a problem with my SN95 Mustang, and I wrote a story about it. And sure enough, we've got a gentleman that's in customer service, and he's not. I hope his boss isn't listening. We asked him to help out. Right, he's got a C5 Corvette that he's working through, and he had issues with the brake modulator that controls that does the traction control. So he wrote a story about it. We really are. I hate to keep saying it, but powered by enthusiasts because we have so many people that have these problems with their cars and that love to write about it and love to help people and love to inform people on how to fix it. And we also are really good with finding good freelancers. We've got a really good complement of freelancers. The contraction of the print industry has, I don't want to say beneficial to us, but it has meant there's a lot of really good freelance talent out there that wants to share what they know. And so, come on board. Let's Jeff Smith is a perfect example. That man has forgotten more today about cars than I will ever know in my lifetime. And so he does a regular, 3 times a month column on just a Q&A. Hey, why is my OptiSpark not working right? Oh, well, here's, 500 words on how to fix your OptiSpark, right?
Man, that's so cool. I think that's one thing that's great about the internet now is like, used to, if that guy wasn't liked by the editor, I mean, his stuff may not get in there unless it's a really good story. Now with the internet, you can take and you can put that on the site and maybe it doesn't perform as well, but it's still there. That's a story that's still out there. Somebody can search and find.
Yeah, and for better for worse, we got to feed a content beast. So even if we know, like the blower motor resistor is a perfect example. Like it will, it won't get a single, it won't top 100 readers, this week. But 5 months from now, someone's going to need this article.
Oh yeah. So it's funny you mentioned blower motor. My brother is going through that right now in his Ram, and he had pulled into the store to get to buy. He was going to buy a new blower motor, and they were like, "Have you checked the resistor?" And he's like, "No." They're like, "Why don't you do that real quick?" Turns out it was that.
Yeah.
And I think it was $54. So like he ordered
and you don't have to rip you don't have to rip your dash apart to replace a blower motor.
Yeah, exactly. And so he was excited, instead of spending like $200 something and a weekend tearing the truck apart, now you can put that in and it should work. So we'll find out on Friday.
But I feel like those type of workers at parts stores are few and far between now.
Yeah.
That's going to give you that kind of advice, Half the times when I go into the parts store, I have to tell them what I want specifically.
Oh yeah. You better have part numbers and stuff like that. That's why you just need to call Summit. Just call on the phone.
Right.
Yeah, the tech department's good.
You've got an LS in your SN95 Mustang. Oh yeah. We got a guy that did that 2 weeks ago. He'll help you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, big shout out to the tech team over there, and big shout out to the whole staff, man. We've talked to a bunch of those guys at events and on the phone and over the years and all that kind of stuff. All the guys and girls there are pretty cool. Oh, Dan Chandler was thinking like 671 blower, not heater motor.
Oh yeah. It's dangerous when you talk about Summit Racing. Yeah, well, maybe.
I need a blower motor. Oh, really? Like a 871 or something like that? Yeah, sure. What did you get this box? I'm like, what? Why is this thing $8,500? That's awesome. Yeah, so let's move to some project cars. You've kind of mentioned Adam a little bit. What obviously let's start with the Corvette because I think historically and legacy and stuff like that's really cool. So tell us about the Corvette.
Well, like I said, it's a 72, the cheapest Corvette. And this is back when people are astonished to hear that there was a time when the convertible was cheaper than the coupe. Especially when you're talking about the early C3 Corvettes, because that's when the American automotive public introduced to T-tops. That was one of the first mainstream applications of T-tops. So the coupe was more expensive than the convertible. So this is a ragtop car, and it finally gave up the ghost around 100,000 miles at 350. Spit a push rod through the cylinder head. And so we took it out and got it rebuilt. We sent it off to a shop to rebuild. My dad and I aren't that savvy. We don't trust ourselves with a micrometer as much as we probably should. So we pulled it out, that had a reputable company rebuild it, and we put it back in. And that was, it was probably more like 95, 96.
Oh, wow.
And after that, it was a parade car. We drove it to the Bowling Green Museum. The Corvette Museum just opened up. And so lots of memories in that car. Drove it to the Corvette Nationals, drove it up, so put a ton of miles on it. But when I moved away after about 10 years, I moved away to the East Coast and did my thing. The car kind of sat. And even when I moved back to Ohio, we were still only driving it like twice a year. Right. And you can't drive any car twice a year and expect it to be happy. And so that's where it's kind of is now. I actually just, we had a decent chance of weather. We had a decent stretch of weather up here in Ohio last week. So I brought it back to you're darn tootin'. I'm a ragtop man. I've got a 5-year-old who calls them crumb-burtables, like breadcrumb. He calls them crumb-burtables. And so last week I took that car and I basically drove the wheels off it. Oil change, the diff fluid change, set the timing again just to make sure. But if anyone is in the greater Cincinnati area is a quadrajet whisperer, and it's a Q-Jet car, and man, I'm not there yet. I don't have enough time and brain power to dial it in. It likes to stumble and stall at idle.
Oh man. Yeah. I don't know anything about that stuff.
So
time for some EFI.
Yeah. Well, that's the sniper. There's plenty of options out there. But I'm a purist, man. And like I said, I've got a bunch of other old stuff that's all carburetors. If you can't be fixed by turning a thumb wheel or a screw, then I don't want any parts of it. But quadrajets are kind of their own beast. So I'm going to have to. and it got really hot. So it's nothing worse than tuning a carburetor, you know, a 200-degree engine, leaning over a 200-degree engine bay in like 95-degree heat. So I put that one back into mothballs.
And the tough part is like that's why I don't have carburetors on anything I have, because like you'll tune it at 95 degrees for a fun day out in the summer, and then you go to get back in it and it's 80 degrees. It doesn't run right. I'm like, I want to get in it and fire the key and go.
Yeah. And that's exactly the world I'm living in. So I'll get it out in the fall and really go through it. The good news is the way and a lot of carburetors like this, the idle circuit and the actual carburetor part are kind of two different things. So once you put your foot into it, I mean, it's fine. It's 200 horsepower. Like that's the official net rating in 1972, which really pissed my dad off, because in 1971 that same engine was 255 horsepower, but you know, the gross to net thing. So it's 200 horsepower, but it is magical because it still sounds like it's got, you know, a 427 in it, right? Like it still sounds like a fire breather. So you could put your foot in it and still only basically get up to 60 miles per hour and have a lot of fun. So it works out well.
Yeah, that's a fun car and a cool legacy too, man. And when are we ever going to see T-tops come back? I'm ready for them.
They say that when's the new Camaro coming out, right? Like GM is officially bringing back. I mean, and they're saying, all right. So here's what's really tickling me. When they brought back the 5th gen Camaro, they obviously used the 1st gens as the starting point, right? Mm-hmm. And it makes perfect sense, because the Mustangs look like Mustangs, the LD or LX Challengers look like the old school Challengers. But if they resurrect the Camaro as like a 2nd or 3rd gen, I'm going to be all over it, man.
I mean, can we get another 3rd gen, please?
I mean, I'm kind of a there too. So if you throw T-tops and a 6-speed, you know, put a nice solid manual transmission in that car.
Oh yeah.
It will fly off the shelves. GM, we're listening. We're waiting. T-top, stick shift, and
Alpine cassette deck.
Yes, let's go in. All of it. Can we get the what? I don't know what they called that on the seats, where it like was different colors and just kind of, you know, we get all the back.
Well, it's funny, not to completely derail this conversation, but you know, I enjoy it. I'm enjoying myself, so we're going to derail it. So now you can there's plenty of companies out there. Locar's got some kits. Holly's got some kits to make an LS look like you know, 1st gen small block Chevy, right? They've got the air cleaners and certainly the 4150 style throttle bodies. Yes, darn tootin', Tommy. So they've got, in fact, Tommy's a Summit employee. He and I were talking about this during the power tour. So they've got these kits that can make an LS look like a 1st gen small block, right? When is someone going to invent a retrofit EFI kit that does the elephant ear TPI style intake manifold?
No. No.
I mean, performance be darned. I think it would look cool. I would drive it.
Well, and how much fun would that be when you pop the hood? People like, it's really going to confuse a lot of folks. I can see it.
I remember when those small block kits first started coming out. You're like, this is an LS. If someone's going to steal my idea now that it's out in public, now it's out in the world.
Well, hey, as long as they do a good enough job and the quality is good, maybe it's listed on summitracing.com.
Oh yeah, we'd sell it. I know all our merchandisers. If that product exists, it will be on our shelves.
Yeah, but just because Paul's going to be like, "Hey, did you talk to that guy yet? Did you get that listed yet?" That's awesome.
Well, what other project cars do you got there at the house?
I got an old Jeep CJ. In fact, part of the reason why the Corvette's languished is because I was living up in Akron and the Corvette was down in Cincinnati, and it was just so I was like, Dad, if you're going to keep the Corvette, which is awesome, and you should drive the wheels off it, I'm getting my own thing. And so shortly after, like within minutes, I think, of me inking the contract to come to Summit Racing, I've always wanted a Jeep. I mean, Jeeps are just fun. I've always wanted an old school Jeep, so I bought an old CJ5. And the original plan was to go full off-roader, like full 1980s stomper, bass boat, fiberglass tub, 350 combo, bass boat, metallic red paint, stripes, the whole 9 yards. But I found this CJ And again, Northeast Ohio in general, not kind to sheet metal. But I found this CJ5 that it was just in such good condition. Like, it was all original steel tub. It was the inline 6 car, manual to the T176 manual. Everything was there. A little bit of rust, but workable. And so my plans changed overnight. Like, I'm done doing my big old 35-inch tires. Now it's just I'm keeping it as stock as possible. And in fact, it pretty much is. It's got a cool old gnarly winch. In fact, if you want to really nerd out, it's the actual poster child for a lot of the stuff we sell on Summit Racing, because it's such a clean stock version of a CJ5. So if you're shopping for a CJ5 at Summit Racing, you might see pictures of my Jeep. But nice. I'm again, my goal was just to keep it stock and not broken. And believe it or not, knock on wood, I'll never get rid of this thing because it's been so darn reliable. Nothing is broken on it. Or at least nothing is broken on it that couldn't cost more than $100 to fix. Yeah. Water pumps. I went through the carburetor. I mean, I did a whole like refurb of the engine, the driveline, to pull it, divorce the transfer case and do all that stuff. But the axle's never been apart. The engine's never been apart. Like, I went through the carburetor, but new cooling system, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Right. So I'm kind of leaving that as is.
How heavy is that transfer case? Dude, they're cast steel or something. I don't know what it is. It's incredibly heavy.
It's they're all the same weight in the sense that you always underestimate how heavy they are, right? Like, it's always 40 pounds heavier than you thought it would be.
Yeah.
Especially when you're laying on your back with it. That last bolt comes out and honey, please, whatever, please.
Yeah, get the jack over here right now. Yeah.
But it's I love that thing, and the kids love it, and so I'll probably never sell it. And it's just a hoot to drive.
Yeah, and that's a rig that you can let something like that sit for 3 or 4 months and come out and it'll fire off like, okay, I'm ready now. Let's go. Like, that inline 6 started back as the AMC 232, I think, back in the early 60s, and it's essentially the 4-liter high output that they Chrysler Stellantis was putting in the TJ Jeeps up into the early 2000s. Yeah, it's pretty incredible, and they make decent power, and they're a lot of fun and deep geared, and it's just cool to see something like that move. And you said it's a CJ5 or 7?
CJ5, yeah.
Oh, sweet, yeah, that's cool.
And it's really crazy.
The kids get all the looks when they're in the back seat and doing all the
it's neat because it's a 1980, but I call it a vehicular coelacanth because you can park it right next to a 1955 CJ5, squint your eyes just a little bit, and they're identical. Like, they've changed nothing on that car that the government didn't make them change. Like, they had to make it stay more stable, and they had to get the engine in, so they had to stretch it a little bit, and they had to make the white. But nothing they had to change. They didn't change anything that they weren't mandated to change.
Right. They're like, just add another 2 inches to that stamping that we've been using for 42 years.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's awesome. That makes it less expensive. Okay, so that's 2. I want to know more about this SER Sentra, because I sold cars back in the early 2000s until like 2013, but that was a fun car. It was spirited. They ran great for what they were, and if you were coming up then, that was a great sport compact. Now I live in Northwest Arkansas, and we got very few of those. So if you saw an SER in town, somebody had gone somewhere and gotten it. It was a pretty cool car.
A full disclaimer: it's not the really cool one. It's a B15, which is the second generation, the third generation. So the original one that everyone loves is the B13, and it came out in the mid 90s. So mine's a 2004, and it's the B15 Nissan Sentra SER Spec V, which is just an alphabet soup, but it does have a 6-speed limited slip.
Yeah.
And weighs, I have maybe 3,200 pounds. It's an obscene weight. So it's the funnest car I've ever, it's slow car fast.
Yeah.
In a world where the only other car I really cross shop was the Neon SRT4.
Mm-hmm.
And that thing, I mean, that SRT4, that's a fast car from the factory. I mean,
oh yeah.
Even back then, it was fast. Like it was doing 14s from the factory, and it didn't take much work to crank up the boost and get into the 13s. On a car that cost like $20,000. But I digress because I'm going to.
Yeah, I don't know if you can buy a really nice SRT4 for 20 grand now.
No,
They're crazy. A nice
Probably not.
There's some wore out ones that are out there, but I'm a big fan of that stuff.
I don't want to get rid of this Nissan, but it's rusting in half. So I lived by the ocean for several years. Like I lived in Virginia Beach, like 2 blocks away from the ocean, and that salt air is no joke. Like you could wipe if it stormed the night before, you could grab your finger and just wipe it down the side of the car and have like this gooey, slimy stuff on your car.
Oh man.
Wow.
And then I moved to Northeast Ohio, which, you know, we salt our roads. So that's delightful. So I can, and that's why I can't sell this car because it's rusted in half. I'm going to drive it.
You feel good giving it to someone, selling to someone else.
Yeah.
That's funny. Well, what's the plan for it then? Like, are you just going to keep going until it does fall in half? I mean, is that kind of the plan?
Yeah, I'd like to keep it because it's so much fun to drive. It's a 6-speed and it's kind of like the Corvette. It doesn't have enough horsepower to get you into a lot of trouble. You know, I think I've got an air intake, cat back, 2.5-inch exhaust. So, you know, maybe 180 at the wheels, maybe. But you can drive like a jerk, you know, as my wife would say, you know, fire up and off ramp, but it's still only basically ping on 70, right? Like you hit 70 miles per hour and you feel like you've accomplished something. You know, it's not like a modern car where everything's soundproof and quiet and you can inadvertently go 110 and not realize it. This car makes sure that you know how fast you are going.
That is one thing that has we've lost a little bit of that, is that visceral feel, you know, like where you get some of that noise.
Where you almost feel like you're on the verge of making a mistake, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this car is telling me I shouldn't be going this fast.
Yeah. Right. And that car probably revs to 7,000, 7,500.
Yeah. The neat part was, so what Nissan did, and one of the reasons it was so endearing to me is they just followed the 1960s muscle car playbook. They took a lightweight car and they took an engine out of their portfolio. It was the truck engine that they had just designed because Nissan had just gotten into the truck market with the Frontier. They went from the hard body and then they just like really up their domestic. I think that the deal with the Frontier is that it was specifically made for the North American market. So they developed a new this QR25DE. It's the 2.5 liter. So the red line is 58. The red line is really low. I don't want to say something wrong, but it's a stump puller. So it makes power at, unlike a Honda where you got to slap that rev limiter. It makes power at $2,000 all the way up.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that is kind of fun then.
And the neat part of the limited slip is that you can get into a turn, floor it, and it'll pull itself through the turn for you. It's a really fun car to drive, and I'm getting sad because I know it's not long for this world.
That's all right. You can always just buy one that's all blown up and the body's not wore out, you know.
I'd like to keep it. My oldest son is 11, and my wife, and she's thankfully out of this room. I'd like to keep it, teach him how to drive a stick in it.
Oh, nice. That'd be awesome.
But we'll see. Knock on wood.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a long time from now, even though it's will be around the corner for sure. Yeah. Eric's got both of his kids are driving and almost adults. And I've got one that just started driving and one's 13. So yeah, goes fast.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, any other project cars that we missed?
No, like I said, I'm a nerd for motorcycles. I've got an early Honda CB350. That's just just an absolute hoot. It makes about 35 horsepower, but it sounds cool. It's just a parallel twin, and it's chrome back when chrome was everything. Yeah. So I can pull that up into any car show, any bike show, and people are like, "Oh man, I had one of those when." So I got that, and then I've got a Nighthawk CB750, the cultural ancestor of that classic CB750. It's still the air-cooled dual overhead cam engine, and that thing's got close to 100,000 miles on it. I've driven that thing to Sturgis. Wow. I've driven that thing up and down the East Coast, and just like that Jeep, it has not. Short of, I've had to replace a couple sprockets and replace a couple of valve cover gaskets, and I rebuilt the starter motor like 2 weeks ago. That's it. Awesome. You know,
my first motorcycle was a 250 Nighthawk, and man, we went down the rabbit hole of like 450 Nighthawks and 750 Nighthawks, and end up on sport bikes after that. But yeah, pretty cool.
The neat thing about this is, we kind of complained that we were kind of praying that Chevy makes the second or third gen Camaro revival. If motorcycle companies start making a hydraulic, I can't stand it when I have to do a valve adjustment with a shim. First of all, the 750 is hydraulic valves, so just keep it with oil and we're good.
You're set, yeah.
The 350, you can just a screwdriver. You put a feeler gauge and screwdriver up tight, pull it out, you're done. Most motorcycles nowadays, you got to take the cylinder head off. Basically, you got to pull the gas tank, you got to put a shim, and get your micrometer on there, your feeler gauge, and
I never rode them long enough to do that with them.
Right.
Yeah, my brother wrecked one for me, and then if he's watching, it was probably the best move. And then the next one I had was stolen. So after that, I was like, okay, no more motorcycle. I'm done. That's funny. Yeah, CB350s, man. I had went down the rabbit hole of a cafe racer at one point, low bars, kind of a cool motorcycle, and I think I bought a CB350 74 or 5, whatever. I don't know, one of the later years for those, and just never put it together. Ended up giving it to a guy. So cool bike, super cool bike.
Yeah, for sure.
Everything I have is modded. There's nothing except my daily driver Ford truck. That's the only thing I haven't touched.
Never mod your daily.
Or get ready. You go ahead and mod it, and then just be ready for it to turn into a race car, and then get you another daily.
When I met my wife, the Nissan didn't have an interior in it because lightweight meant race car, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no carpet. Yeah, probably shaved a whole 0.2 of a second off by completely gutting the car. Yeah,
yeah.
So speaking of dailies, what do you daily drive now?
One of those. So my wife's got a Subaru Outback, and we love it, and it's stupid reliable. It's 2011 Subaru nerds will get this, was the last of if you had an analog to the small block Chevy, would be Subaru's EJ series engine, and granted, it was the one that gave them the nightmare head gasket reputation, but after 30 years, they had finally figured it out. And so that's in 2011, 2012, I think was the last year you could get the EJ series 2.5 liter. And that's what we've got. And that thing's been dead nuts reliable, timing belt every 100,000 miles, and it's a happy kid. So she drives that. And thankfully we never really need to drive the whole fleet of us much anywhere. And we're small enough. I mean, we'll probably need a bigger car sooner rather than later, but yeah, when you have 2 motorcycles, an old Jeep, an old Corvette, and a Nissan, you don't really have a whole lot of room in your garage or your pocketbook for another daily driver, which is good because I get to say I daily drive some pretty rad machines.
Oh, that's for sure. Yeah, yeah, and I would think with the weather you guys have most of the season, like that Jeep or the Corvette's pretty good run.
The Jeep, the neat thing about the Jeep is that it didn't have a factory. It had a fiberglass hardtop. And those are super beyond rare. The metal hardtops are far more common because they were factory issue. You could buy option one through Jeep. But it's got a fiberglass one. So I've got this fancy little lift that pulls it off in there every summer. So yeah, we drive that thing. We'll throw a Christmas tree on it in December and drive home. And yeah, it does year-round work.
That's super cool. All right. Well, what's next for you? I saw you at Power Tour. Tommy and I talk a bunch, probably once a week. He does event stuff. So he's always on the go. Now, what does that look like for you? Are you typically at events? Do you hang back? Do you do big stuff? Do you do stuff you want? How's that work?
Well, the good thing about where we are in Ohio, I'm in striking distance to the big one of the big industry shows is the Professional Racer Industry, PRI, and that it used to be in Daytona, now it's in Indianapolis. That is like an hour and a half, 2 hour drive. So I always go to that every December. SEMA is in Vegas every year, so I'm always. The joke is I'm always unsuccessful at finding ways to weasel out of it. So I'll be at SEMA, and there's events going on in the Midwest all the time. We've got the Good Guys show in Columbus that was just 2 weekends ago. I had to miss it because I was on vacation, but I usually go to that. And any events, where I didn't go on Drag and Drive, but the Power Tour, that'll go somewhere within striking distance of my home. So I'll try to get to a stop, at least one stop on there. So nothing really concrete outside of the next big thing I have is SEMA, and that's the first week in November. But I got kids and I got cool old cars, so I'm always driving. I'm very much I love the cars and coffee phenomenon. I love, not to knock judged car shows and car shows where you have to register. That's a very big part of the hobby, and I'm passionate for that stuff too. That's cool. That needs to be there. But I also like to just wake up on a Saturday morning at 8:00, go out and see a Lamborghini parked next to a Chevelle, right?
Yeah. Oh,
so I'm always out Saturday mornings at something.
Right. And I hope we see a lot more of that. Like there's Cars and Coffee here in Northwest Arkansas. I mean, Eric's got several of them that are within 20 or 30 minutes of him. I think that is really becoming a lot more prevalent in cruise nights. We're seeing a lot more midweek cruise nights. There's my neighbor hosts one on Thursday nights. And so my plan is tomorrow night to hit it and just you go for an hour and a half and then roll on,
I think that's a trend that we're seeing, and certainly Drag and Drive, Autocross Week. This whole idea that get out and drive your car, and I guess you could say it started with a pro street movement back in the late '80s, early '90s. You built this awesome machine, and then you just drove it, and you impressed people. And so pro touring, make the car drivable. It wasn't just a rolling piece of artwork, so you could take it to an Autocross Week, and even a Cars and Coffee. Where I live. If the calendars align, there'll be a Saturday where there's 3 or 4 Cars and Coffee shows within, each one's within 25, 30 minutes of driving. So I may go to, awesome. Yeah, you'll go to 2 or 3 in a single morning and be done by noon.
Yeah. See, so the guys here in Northwest Arkansas, and I don't want to bag on them, but that's why I really do mostly national type stuff anymore, is because, man, it gets so, we don't have anything that overlaps. There's never a show that overlaps. And I'm always when I first see that, because that's typically what happens. People will schedule months in advance, not knowing what the other guy's going to put his date on. There's just not enough intermingling of promoters, but they'll put on the same thing. I'm like, man, make it a trip. If you start at this one and you drive over to that one, and when you come back, you get a special discount, you get a gift card to some shop locally or, Summit or something like that. Like these guys have to think about that. We've got to get these people out and about and driving around. Mainly, in Drag and Drive, we drive around because we're going to the next track. But also, it's good to put miles on these things, man. That's a great way to test ahead of a Drag and Drive before you take off and go 1,000 miles on the street. You better start and stop that thing about 80 times.
Yeah.
Sit in some bad traffic. Try and get into a Cars and Coffee that's 30 cars deep while you're sitting there waiting in traffic, and let that thing overheat twice, So that way you know what to work on next instead of just showing up at an event like, oh yeah, I've got 20 miles on it.
Well, and that's it, right? You drive the car. At the end of the day, whether you're building a 9-second, street strip car or just a cruiser to get ice cream. Put miles on it. And again, not knocking. I know the restoration community is, it's low miles and it's got the value. It's yeah, but your cars are made to be driven. So get out there, have fun. Stuff is going to break.
Let's be honest. If it's a super low mileage car, having 20,000 miles on it isn't going to hurt it. If it has 8, go ahead and run it to 15. Have some fun. Drive it a little.
Unless it's 60 years old and has a prancing horse on the side on the fender, then you can drive it. Trust me, you'll be okay.
Yeah, and you can drive those cars. They probably appreciate that a lot more if you drive the car. That car's not going to break because you're that's why I couldn't have anything like that. There is one car I would never mod, but that's couple $100,000 deal. Early or late 60s Jaguar XKE V12. Wouldn't touch it. The only car I'd ever leave stock, but.
That's a good choice. And that's something you don't want to touch, right?
Yeah, I'm scared of that car. V12 and stick shift. That's not the jam if you're having to have somebody else work on that thing, I promise. All right, well, real quick here. What's one thing you're seeing in the automotive space that gives you hope for the future of hot rodding?
Well, we kind of touched on it, right? There's always something new. And I think that's the only constant is change, right? And there's so many good things going on. Remember when No Prep? No Prep's technically been around since the 60s, and we didn't really start talking about it as a major community trend until about 20 years ago. Is that fair to say? You guys are more plugged in. 20, 15 years ago, certainly TV helped accelerate it, but just new things, people discovering this type of racing, this type of car. it's really fascinating, and Power Tour is a perfect example of that. How many people were enamored with an 87 G body?
Yeah.
I grew up in a world where those were common. And I don't want to date myself. I admitted that I'm a late Gen Xer, but I went to high school with someone that had one of those. And it's just, that changing trends, there'll always be something that's going to pique curiosity of the next generation. And a lot of people lament, oh, it's computer controlled. And I'm not even talking EVs. I'm just talking about, remember the early days of LS swaps, and even any late model engine swaps. It's like, oh, it's driven by a computer. There's no way we'll be able to crack codes. And sure enough, people were soldering boards, soldering EPROMs and stuff. Life will find a way, to quote Jurassic Park. We will find a way to build things. If there's a code to be cracked, we will crack it, as just the industry, as the community, as the hobbyist, because that's what we do. We figure out problems. We figure out how to solve problems. So I just see the way things are and see how, how the diversity of a car show field now, it's all good. And there's nothing to be afraid of. We'll figure out a way to solve whatever problems the automotive industry faces. And we're seeing it with, the right to repair stuff, they may lock down the software. No, we'll fight it. We'll figure it out. And it'll be good.
C8 Corvettes are the rule there.
Yeah. So, if you talk about what gives me hope for the future, it's just, we'll figure it out. I'm around smarter people than me every second of my professional career. So
yeah,
when you're the dumbest person in the room,
to work.
Yeah, when you're the dumbest person in the room, the only place you can look is up, right?
That's right. Yeah, I would say it a bunch, but I love it when engineers and nerds are hot rodders as well. Yeah. Tommy Dupree has a great question there. Eric, why don't you hit that one?
Yeah, Tommy says we need to get Paul and a co-pilot for a D&D. So we kind of talked about this a little bit before the show, but when are we going to see your name on the list of a Drag and Drive?
I would love it. And we were joking earlier before the interview, before we hopped online here. My whole life in terms of a gearhead culture, my whole life has been don't break stuff, right? Like don't do anything that's going to cause trouble. Coming from the son of a man who daily drove a classic Corvette up into the 90s, anytime something broke, it was a problem. So I love D&D. I would love to be, this is going to sound mean, but I'll power through it. I would love to be in someone else's financial responsibility, offering advice, and I'll get my hands dirty. I know how to, I know how to work a compression. I know how to check compression. I know how to change plugs. I will gleefully ride along on somebody else's liability.
Yes, yeah.
There's
a co-pilot. That's the perfect way to word it.
Yeah, there's content to be made right there.
Yeah. We need him and Justin.
Yeah, I will. Justin, I know Justin's chomping at the bit. Justin is our Summit Racing, our video guy, for lack of better terms. He's an engine builder. He knows an awful lot about engines. He's the one that built, had a major part in building our Monte Carlo, LS swap Monte Carlo, and he's building. We got a 74 Nova in the shop now that we're going to be building up, and yeah. So I don't think you'll have to twist his arm to get out in a drag and drive.
Yeah, I mean, we need to, Tommy, let's start working on that for dates and events, because there's some, just this last weekend, we were at Dragway 42. We drove by Norwalk, drove by Summit Motorsports Park, and then we raced at Milan. So there's some stuff. Buckeye Skips is around there, and those are weekend type events, because I know you guys are so busy with stuff. So we can keep it to a couple of days, and I think that'd be kind of fun. I need to get the old truck on the new frame, and then just toss you guys the keys, let you run it for the weekend.
A drive up from Arkansas, you're going to drive right through Cincinnati, and Edgewater is kind of my home. There's I don't know if you've ever been to Edgewater.
Oh yeah, it's a great spot.
If you combine a national park with a racetrack, that's what you get. There's trees everywhere. I love Edgewater. I will never speak ill of it. That's a great track. And then I'm going to call it Killcare, even though I know the name has changed, but up in Xenia. So you can hit Durana Raceway now, but you can go from Edgewater to Durana and up to Milan, Dragway 42 and everything.
Yeah. Killcare is a great one. We were there with the Great American Detour when we drove our stuff across the country. I drove from Arkansas to Manhattan and back in my 66 C10. So, full of Summit parts. Yeah, got plenty of guys here saying, and they've got
Right.
an open spot. I do love this Daniel Donarski saying here. He said, "How about a pro-am drag and drive event?" I think that would be a ton of fun. Get some people that are not necessarily drag racers over into the co-pilot seat or the driver's seat with somebody that knows what they're doing, over it there. So that could be kind of fun.
You ever see a 9-second car putter to like a 22?
Oh, a bunch. Yeah, a bunch. I'm going to tell this story later too, but we had Heads Up Hustle. We had a stick shift car, Corolla GR. Like this is like a late model 14-second Corolla. He took down one of the biggest dudes in the class because he got off the line and the other guy didn't and just kept spinning the whole way down. So pretty interesting story there. So, hey, everybody's got a chance to win. That's for sure. All right.
Right.
Eric, lead us out, bud.
Yeah, so we talked about the drag and drive. You talked a little bit earlier about freelance writers. So what do we got to do to have Mike and I get some drag and drive stories there for you?
You have my email address. Yeah, we'll publish some content. That's great. We'd love it. That's fine. We'll talk. Yeah, no problem.
That'd be a ton of fun. I think all the stories that we get and everything that we talk about here, providing a little bit of that over to you guys would be a ton of fun.
Yeah, again, authenticity. It's 100%. Like we got to be able to show people that we live and breathe this stuff. So absolutely.
Well, man, listen, I appreciate you coming on here with us a whole bunch. We've got some stuff to go through. Do you want to hang out with us for a minute while we run through these results and stuff like that?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm all ears.
Okay. Heck yeah. Well, Eric, let's get to rolling then, because we've got to move forward here. So let me add this stuff back to the stage again, guys. onallcylinders.com, summitracing.com. Find all the stuff there. You can hear Paul's voice a lot more than you can hear here. Man, I don't know. It's been awesome listening to your stories and stuff like that tonight, but you guys got to go over there and listen to all the cool stuff they talk about over there. And then while you're on summitracing.com, we've got our Drag Driver Pete recommended products here. You guys can jump on, look at that stuff. Tell us what we need to add. I mean, this needs to be universal, but also specific. So we want parts and pieces and things like that. There's, I think, 14 products on there now. We've got 6 more products in the queue that we're sending over to Dave Fuller, another Summit Racing guy there, and get it updated here probably after Havlik. So we'll see what kind of cool stuff. And then obviously you can always type in Drag Driver Pete merch and you can get your Summit branded merch there, hats, hoodies, baseball caps. You can get big brim hats. You can get t-shirts and hoodies as well. So, all right, sir. Drag Driver Pete updates, guys. We're headed. The next event for us is next week. We're going to Hot Rods by Havliks, Fastest Streetcar Shootout, who are backstage, who will be bringing them on here momentarily, probably about 15, 20 minutes, something like that. We'll have them on here to give them an update. And then this is one of my favorite events of the year. This is an actual photo taken literally from the event. This isn't AI in any way. This is an actual photo. They're recreating this as well. This thing became like iconic. This shot here with an actual explosion in the background. I mean, it was nuts. So we're going to hear about all that stuff. But what I need the watchers to do is let's peer pressure Eric into bringing the 240 to Havlik. So my plan, I'm going to change the oil this weekend in the old truck, do a once over, make sure all my bolts are tight and stuff like that. We need Eric to drive that 240 from home to Havliks so we can go down there and hang out. He's already driven it to Cordova one time. We just need to do it now for the weekend.
Yeah,
so the spot. Are you going to bring it?
It'll make it for sure. I told you the other day my only worry, and I talked about this when we had the side-by-side tracker guy on. Having a convertible in a hotel parking lot's the only thing that worries me. Getting there, no problem. So maybe I leave the car at the track and ride with you back to the hotel, and the wife's coming, so maybe we can drive her car back and forth.
Oh, I didn't even think about that because I was like, man, I could just give you guys the keys to the truck. Then, but she'll be in her car. So yeah, she don't want to drive it. She don't want to ride in that truck.
So we'll find some place to park the 240 up there, and then maybe even when we do the drag and drive cruise, maybe you and I will jump in our vehicles and do that cruise as well. I think that would be fun.
Yeah, I'm in. All right, so tell us about what's the most recent update on the Mustang.
So last week we had a rotating assembly. This week was a little bit warm again. The temperature around here, it's like up and down. So we had upper 90s again. So didn't do a whole lot, but did get the oil pan back on. I was missing the timing cover gasket, which I think got ruined somehow when the engine was disassembled. So that I just got a new one. So really, we're getting ready to put that back on. The front of the engine will be done. We'll pull it off the stand. We'll put the rear cover on, and then the next big thing is going to be switching the springs to the Howard's cams springs that came when I bought the cam and everything. And then we'll be able to get the heads on, and we'll be pretty much buttoned up, and then we can get it back in the car and start doing the final sensors and intake and all that put on.
Nice. All right, man. It's exciting. All right. Let's talk about some event updates coming up because, man, this month has been crazy, and I cannot wait till Saturday to go through all this stuff. Like, we had a huge weekend this last weekend. So let's talk about some Driven Racing Oil updates.
Yeah, let me hit this ad read and we'll jump right in.
Hey, it's Brandon from Fort Smith, Arkansas here. Driven Racing Oil is a performance engine oil that can do it all. GP1 is the ultimate oil for any race or performance application. Whether launching hard at the drag strip and during the extreme heat of off-road and circle track, or pushing the limits in top-fueled drag boats and demo derbies, winning racers choose GP1. Compatible with engines from classic hot rods to cutting-edge race machines, GP1's unique surface cleaning and high-zine formulation ensures superior wear protection, particularly for flat tappet camshafts, while solving issues like cylinder washout with methanol and ethanol fuels. Crafted from the legendary Bradford, Pennsylvania base oil and enhanced with state-of-the-art additive packages, GP1 offers the best in protection and performance.
All right, so drag drive repeat events, short circuit. You got your, or you didn't get your first choice, I see.
Dude, and I'm a little heartbroken. So you guys know I've been fighting, trying to get this cotton gin deal set up. Finally got somebody on the phone at my first choice, which gives us an amazing route to loop through. And they said they don't want to do it. They're going to be the busiest they'll be of the year that weekend, just because all of the farmers bringing in all the cotton and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be really tough. And they just said, man, I'm sorry. If you would do it, earlier in the year or later in the year or early next year, we'd be in. I'm like, this is the weekend I got. So I'm back on the hunt. We're going to find somebody, whether it be this big, nice new facility or an older facility with one machine in it. We're going to find some place that we can go in and get a tour of this place. So that's the update there. And then Route 66 Roundup. Man, we're getting close. I can't wait for this. This is going to be really a lot of fun. I'm going to open up registration in 3 weeks. It's going to be the 22nd of August. I'm going to open registration for this. This is one that you don't have to sign up ahead of time. This is a fill-in event. I hate to say that because it sounds bad, but we're basically doing this to help the track, right? So Tulsa Midnight Drags, we're starting literally at midnight. Then we're into import face-off the next morning. So we're going to drive between those two events on the road with breakfast at Crossroads Diner. So I'm going to open registration for this event August 22nd. I'll be making a post on that event and all that kind of stuff in the coming days.
Perfect. All right. Looking at our July events, we are down to our last event going on right now, Miles of Mayhem. It ends in 2 more days, and we will be wrapped up with all of our July events, which feels pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, 8 events this month. It's been nuts. If you guys aren't following that track channel, please go do that. Gary Cummings is an awesome dude, and he has been putting out some crazy content. If you guys don't remember, he got actually he can't come into the States anymore until he gets some kind of special visa for content creators. So he's locked in Canada for the time being. So he has been chomping at the bit to get drag and drive content out. So that track channel, make sure you go follow him. And of course, Miles of Mayhem.
Yep, for sure. Which then jumps into August, and we are going to start August out right away. Havlik's Fastest Streetcar Shootout, which again, we're going to talk about here shortly. That is 9 days away, August 6th. Crazy. So coming up very quick. Then we've got the Olympic Streetcar Shootout, the 7th through 9th. That is 10 days away. Sick Michigan Miles, the 16th through 22nd. That is 18 days away. Dragway Rush, the 19th through 22nd, 21 days away. And rounding out August, we have Cruise and Lose, the 21st through 23rd. That is only 33 days away.
Man, that doesn't seem right. And big shout out to Dragway Rush. They were going to let me be their announcer, but I don't have my passport, and there's no way that I could have gotten it in time. So shout out to them. I appreciate the opportunity there, and I'll have that fixed for next year for sure. But what's cool is like they're only about, I think they're about 40 miles from one of the tracks on Sick Michigan Miles. So there's going to be a lot of cross-border drag and drive stuff going on. So cool cars everywhere up
Yeah.
in that part of the country or
That'll
continent,
be
I guess.
Yeah, that'll be cool. That takes us into September, and we got a busy September as well. We start out with Drop the Hammer, North Carolina, September 11th through 12th, 44 days away. Then we go into Hot Rod Drag Week, the 13th through 18th, 46 days away. We've got Redwood Rally, the 21st through 26th, 54 days away. Central Victorian Drag and Drive, the 24th through 26th, 57 days away. And 666, the last event of September, the 27th through October 3rd. That is only 60 days away.
Wow. And then I heard from Carl said that they're struggling with entries, not struggling, but the car count isn't where they need to be on North Carolina. So if you guys want to attend this event, you need to share it out. You need to get on the map. Drop the Hammer is a great event. They just had a huge weekend at Judgment Day. We're going to go over all the results and stuff on Saturday. And then this is their next evolution in this with another event, September 11th and 12th. But if they don't get the car count, he said they're not going to be able to do it. So keep that in mind. And of course, Drag Week, bro. I mean, this is going to be nuts. The last 3 years have been culminating into this moment right here. This
You
is
bet.
going to be, I don't know. This may be the opportunity for us to see some 5-second passes.
I think so. I think this is going to be the year. We'll see.
Bring it on. And then I'll be at day 0 and day 1 of 666, and then the final day maybe, but definitely day 0 and day 1.
Yeah, and I'm planning on being on the day at I forget the track. It's like Mid-State. It's one of the Illinois tracks I'll be at.
Yep. Yeah, so it should be a good time.
And then October's coming up quick here. We've got Weekend Warrior Race and Relax. That is 65 days away. We've got Rocky Mountain Race Week in 67 days. Route 66 Roundup, which is our event, 80 days away. How does that make you feel?
Scared.
Southeast Street Meet is 83 days. Wild West Drag and Dash is 84 days. And Street Machine Drag Challenge is 90 days away. And our last events of the year. I thought this was interesting, so I put this in: Short Circuit and Road Trip Drag Challenge number 3, both kicking off November 6th. The last events of 2026, 100 days away from today.
Oh man, that really makes my palms sweaty. We need some trash talk between these two. We need to figure out which classes overlap and get after it with some of this and kind of do some, US versus Australia type stuff.
Yeah. So pretty wild. Our last events of the year are only 100 days away.
Yeah, man. We need to figure out the count, what's left. That's probably got to be in the 20s, right?
Yeah,
we're
I would
already
say
over
probably
halfway.
close. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, that puts us at 52 events for the year. And you guys know you can find all of those events at dragdriverepeat.com/events. That will take you to the interactive map where you can see where each one of these events start out at. And if you like it in a list form, scroll past the interactive map and you will see a list of all those events down below.
Yeah, and I've updated it the other day. You should have everything, should be fired up and ready.
Perfect. All right. So again, Driven Racing Oil code DDR10 gets you a 10% discount on drivenracingoil.com, whether that's oil, degreaser, speed wax, anything on their website. So use code DDR10 and save yourself a little bit of money there. All right. We'll jump into J-Wire here. We'll play this quick ad read, and then we'll get into the results from Pistons in the Pines.
What's up, guys? My name is Cole from Fort Worth, Texas. Expert car and marine wiring solutions that you can trust. J-Wire Solutions can wire and plumb your hot rod, your race car, hell, even your drag and drive car. Plus, they offer products to make your driving experience way better, like their blinker module that is just a must for all drag and drive cars. This module will allow your rear turn signals to continue to function while the brake pedal is applied, just like stock. Find all the details at jwiresolutions.com.
Man, lead us in with some of this stuff.
Yep. So big shout out to Pistons in the Pines. Brian sent over all this information. It definitely helped out a ton. So appreciate him doing that. And Track Shot Photography for these photos as well. So first class here, we have Big Tire. Dan Dinan coming in, taking that one with a 5.629 average over Mark Paquette with a 6.564 average. So Dan coming out there with that new car and really laying it down.
Dude, brand new. I mean, this car's a totally fresh build and looks absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Cannot wait. Up next, you got Gasser class here. Joseph Lang. Love this car. Love Henry J's, man. They just look so cool. 651 average for him over Jordan Hansen with a 761. And then our buddy, Mr. Jeff Oppenheim, 889 for him out of his Gasser, which is so cool. He brought it on 666 last year before, something like that. And man, I love that thing.
Yeah, for sure. Next up here, we have small tire. Sean Lemire coming in with a 6.01 average over second place. Rich Woodward with a 6.685 average. And third place, Ryan Donahue with a 6.825 average.
Yeah, I saw some of Rich's posts about the event, said he had a blast. He had never been to some of those roads up there and really enjoyed the scenery. Said he struggled just a little bit running radials on some of the tracks, so he's going to make a switch when he comes back up next year to a slick tire. So I thought that was pretty cool.
That'll be fun.
Yep. Up next in stick shift, we got John Nichols taking the win, 653 average for him. Second place, Peter Anantz, 733 for him. And then third place round out, Austin DeRochers, 763 for him. So pretty close second and third, but John just absolutely running the game on that thing.
Yeah, stick shift came out hard there. Then we jump into our tailgate class. Phil Nadeau coming in with a 5.411 average there. So pretty good there. Second place, Richard Dryden with a 6.130, and third place, Kevin Bellinger with a 6.242.
Man, that's a quick class. That's a bunch of fast trucks.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
and this next class is pretty wild too.
Dude, this DYO stuff is no joke at all. You guys know Dial Your Own, that they base their stuff here at Pistons in the Pines, same way they do at Sick Week and all that kind of stuff. So are the Sick events based on the spread of your quickest and slowest pass. So number 3 in that class, you ready for this? 0.004 spread. Okay. Second place, Rick Hanan. Oh, sorry. Third place is Matt Stoddard, 0.004 spread. Second place, Rick Hanan, 0.003 spread, 3,000ths. And then number 1 place, Mr. Russ Abbott, 0.002 spread. And I think, am I crazy? Did he say like the top 12 cars were less than 100th, or we're at 100th or something like that? Like, man, this thing is getting wild.
DYO
we must be bringing in some bracket guys. That's all I can think.
Well, and these DYO people, they're not afraid to loop it around and make pass after pass. So
yeah,
that's what you got to do to get these type of spreads.
Yeah, run it back 37 times.
Right.
Paul, jump back in here with us. What do you think about this DYO, this Dial Your Own? Basically, it's based on your quickest and slowest pass of the weekend.
Again, we talk about what exciting trends. I mean, we're always coming up with new, interesting ways to run 1/8 mile, run 1/4 mile. You talk about it. I immediately reminisce and think, man, what would someone in 1988? Well, you touched on it. The drag week coming up. We're talking about cars maybe breaking into the 5s.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I kind of didn't. I walked away
crazy,
from the question. Right? But just the amount of power that not only we're able to create and to put to the track, but to put the track and then drive to another track to do the same thing again. So that's when you talk about the DYO and then how accurate and how close and how repetitive. How repeatable it is. It's just stunning.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I mean, to think that a guy had 3 passes and they were no more than 0.002 apart, that's incredible. Very interesting. All right. So that's Pistons in the Pines. Like I said earlier, I will go down through the drop the hammer stuff, the results on Saturday morning. We'll do a full breakdown on that stuff. Big shout out to Jay and the team up there, because I definitely want to talk about them and all of their stuff that they had going on at Judgment Day for Drop the Hammer. That'll be a big part of that conversation. But then also this big announcement that's coming out, hopefully 3 weeks, something like that. This is something 2 years in the making that Jay and Brian have been working on, and it's a big, big move for them. They won't even tell us what it is, except that it's really big. Okay, and I told them, don't want to know. Don't make me keep that secret. So
Yeah.
I'll too many hints.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one for sure.
Oh, dude,
They've
so ready.
teased us with that one for some time now.
Oh yeah, like at least 6 months, jerks.
Yeah.
All right, let me play this Molly ad, and then we'll move on.
Looking for a forged piston kit for your vehicle? You need Molly Motorsport Power Pack. What is Power Pack? It's the ultimate forged piston kit that comes complete with pistons, performance file fit rings, hot string steel pins, and clips, all engineered to work together, so all you have to do is build something great. Find your Power Pack at mollymotorsport.com.
And I say it all the time, Molly, not just sponsor here, but also racer, drag and drive racer, Eric Grillo and George Wright. I know we'll probably see George at Drag Week, but I may message Eric tomorrow and figure out if he's going to be at Drag Week. He usually brings his 70 model pickup up to Drag Week. So let's run through this real quick. Heads Up Hustle. We will be breaking down this in more detail on Saturday as we have some guests on here. But I definitely wanted to run through and mention how much fun I had. This event's the only event of the year that I announced the whole thing. I'm the lead announcer, I guess. A lot of times I'm color commentary or telling fun stories. So this is really pretty neat for me. It's really an opportunity for me to kind of flex that muscle in the back of my brain there to get stories, tell stories, come up with historical stuff, kind of fill all that time in. So it's really kind of fun. But winners here, we'll run through this streetcar class, which is the premier class that Heads Up Hustle. Winner John Moore in the Crown Vic. Let me move it over here. I'll show you just this car PB all weekend. 781 on, or 782 on Friday, 781 on Saturday, and just man, it toted that front left wheel like 150 feet, dude. It was incredible. Runner up in that class, Warren Hurt with 604 cubic inches twin turbo Chevelle. Like this car it's got an 850 cage, but could go deep into the sevens, I think, with the power.
Yeah, which is wild. I love John's Crown Vic. It's such a unique car. It's always fun to watch.
Yeah.
Then we move into the stick shift class. Vance Cooper taking that one with an 892 average over Greg Black with a 9. Was that a 912 average, or was that just a single pass you got there?
That single pass. So Heads Up Hustle is basically you run 2 days to set the qualifying ladder. Okay, so your average sets where you are in the ladder, and Vance he was an 892 quickest pass overall.
Gotcha. But it sounds like he had to replace a water pump on day one, and wife ran to Summit Racing to get that, huh?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. We were close enough to where they could just run down there and grab that. Worked out well, and she was hauling the kids around in I think they have an expedition or something like that. So she was in the car with him sometimes. She was in the expedition sometimes. Like it was really neat.
Yeah, and then on day 2 had an alternator go out, so he had a rough time there, but ended up coming home and taking the win on that one.
Yeah, he actually drove the last few hours with the generator on the roof because he couldn't get an alternator. It was so late at night. It was like 9:30 at night. All the stores were closed. So he just hooked the generator up like on his roof rack and ran it while he drove along, had a charger underneath the hood to get it back. So, pretty cool. But the story of the weekend is the 850 index class, man. This was absolutely insane. 4 racers in that class. It's brand new for this year, and all 4 came with the heat, bro. All 4 of them had 850 passes each day. It was absolutely insane. So winner Jeremy Ortiz, big shout out to him. That's the 3rd event that he's won in like the last 3 events. I mean, it's absolutely insane. TJ Linebaugh came in 2nd place. Their race for the finals was those 2 guys, and it was separated. The margin of victory 0.0056. So I had to type it into Chat GPT. I said, what's the distance on 0.0056 seconds at 160 miles an hour? 16 inches. They didn't know
What?
who won by the end. Yeah. Yeah. The width of this computer screen I'm reading this from is how much Jeremy Ortiz won that by. Like that, it was insane. One of the most fun calls I had made all weekend. I mean, like, and we had a huge upset in stick shift, but this was crazy. I mean, right over the number. Jeremy ran an 851 with a 0 on day 1. TJ ran an 851 with a 1 on day 2 to end up as our number 1 qualifier. And then newcomer Chad Smith, who did Speed Fest, which is what this event we talked about the whole time. These events, these weekend, these one-day things are meant to bring people into the community. So Chad Smith and Jeremy Ortiz raced quite a bit together. Jeremy talked him into coming to Speed Fest, and from there he was hooked. So Heads Up Hustle was the next event that he could fit into his schedule. He came out 854 with a 4 on day 1, 854 with a 1 on day 2, and then big shout out to Rick Beam, who laid down an 858 and 858.05 and an 858 with a 1 both days. Super cool. And then rode the trailer hitch in his single test pass on Sunday. Like, I'm telling you, he was on the hitch 40 feet, something like it was insane. But a little S10 with bed mounted turbos that the bedsides hinge out. Super cool.
Yep.
So
yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, he ran 870s at Six Summer. Just wanted to run 850s, ended up running 858 both days.
Dude, that's awesome.
Badass.
Then we go into our 10-0 index, which was won by Chris Reeder, who was in the comments here a little bit ago.
Mm-hmm.
And Caleb Cars was the number 1 qualifier. And Chris's best pass of the class was a 10.051. So
yeah,
pretty spot on there for the 10-0 index.
Yeah, that class was another one that was tight. 1150 index, though, these guys don't mess around. Zach Zerba ended up winning that one. 1150 machine is what I'm going to say to him. Like, he was just on the number in the Mercury Marauder. That car just ran 1150 something all weekend. Scott Glassbrook in the Jeep. You guys know that name from the 4-cylinder Eagle Talon that races at Hot Rod Drag Week, runs 8s, currently holds the quickest 8th mile or the quickest quarter mile average for a 4-cylinder at an 840. Brought out his Turbo LS Jeep Cherokee. This thing gnarly, like John Force style burnouts. The rear tires, he grabbed the wrong ones from the stack. He grabbed the tires that he drives on in the Talon, and so they were like too wide. So he was doing these huge burnouts. He said there's rubber all over the top of the Jeep now, so he's got to fix all that. But on day 1, he actually he messed up one pass. He was in 10-0 index, messed up a pass, ran like 1165 or something like that. And so I kind of was like, hey, let's go ahead and move. Why don't you move into 1150 index and just turn it down? So all day 2, he was running 1065, 1064, 1071. Couldn't slow it down enough. Finally got it to slow down. Ends up running 1151 with a 4 on day 2 for the quickest pass of the class.
That is pretty wild. Out of a Jeep too, which is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, Jeep Cherokee at that, like a square, mid-90s Jeep Cherokee.
Yeah, a brick.
Yeah, for sure.
Then we go into the 13-0 index. Tyler Adams won that, and it's going to be on next year's shirt.
Dude, super cool. I love shit boxes on shirts. This is like a kind of a ratty Ford Fairmont. It's got a crusty roof on it and all this kind of stuff. It's gonna be really cool. It's brown, so it's like not the thing you want on a shirt, but it's going to be on there because the way John Paul does his shirts is it's the winner of the largest class and the quickest car overall.
Awesome. And then John Pranger, which we talked about a bunch leading up to this event as being one that was a contender in that. He ran too quick at a 12.96.
Yeah, in the finals to come runner up. You want to hear John's weekend? Friday, 13.004. Okay. Number 1 qualifier leaving there. Saturday, 13.006. Goes into the finals with a 13.005 average. So he was our number 1 qualifier. But yeah, just went a little too fast. Tyler Adams also ran a 13.003 on Saturday at Milan. So, it was competitive. That 13.0 index is competitive.
Yeah.
Full size truck. Ralph Rugg, our buddy in the D150, takes the win in that class on runner up John Davis, who was in Thomas Robb's Ram truck that sits down on an all wheel drive Dodge Charger chassis. So
Yep.
super cool setup there. Love the way that truck looks. Just didn't get it done there. So Ralph Rugg, big shout out to him for the win.
Yeah. And then NA small block, Tim Grabiak winning that and PB with a 10-17.
Yeah, that car was on point.
And then Riley Grabiak, 1064s all weekend.
Yeah, like dude, she printed slips 1064 1, 1064 5, 1064 7, 1063 8. Like it was on the money. But Tim got him a free dinner out of that deal. You got to have some little back and forth with your sister there for sure. In a big block winner, Jay Grabiak out there winning. It was pretty awesome to watch him go down, taking on Jeremiah Kirby in an 815 cubic inch Chevelle. That thing is incredible. It's that light green color. It's awesome. Ran a 781 on day one.
Wow.
It was wild. Sadly, Jeremiah couldn't make the call to the lanes for the finals on Sunday, but ended up getting it fixed like 8 minutes later and come up and made a pass. But just really a short time, just got it, just trying to get 60 and 330 foot put together for drag week coming up.
Wow. Daily driver, we got Frank Viziano,
Yeah.
1028 over Chris Vanderwalker.
These dudes battled it out. I think these guys raced side by side, I don't know, 12 times a day, something like that. They were not scared to run around, and they were really close. Like those cars were within a tenth of each other, just about each pass. So it was pretty cool. First race of the weekend, this is kind of I love this with the circuit. We always make it a big deal for the first race, kind of kick off the thing. Kathy and Ralph Rugg ran side by side. So Ralph had not had his truck out since 2023, brought it back out. Kathy, this was her first opportunity to come back out with new mini tubs. So she had a new tire on the back. And I don't know if this is going to get him in trouble, but Ralph won both races. They end up going heads up against. And from there, it was, whoever they ran against next. But to kick off the event, it was Kathy versus Ralph. And Ralph barely won. I mean, like by probably a truck length. So it was pretty cool. Amy Treadle, you guys will know the Treadle name from Jim Treadle, who runs a 7-second, 67 Firebird, 68 Firebird, whatever. She actually got a stock Eliminator Chevy 2 with the 283 in it for her Mother's Day gift. And it was her first time to be out racing. And they've raced together for 30 years. They've been together a long time. And Jim has always raced, and Amy had never made a pass down the drag strip. So they went in, they did the testing on Thursday night in a private test session so she could get a couple passes in. And then she just hammered through, man. We wanted to see 100 miles an hour out of her, and she got to 97.1 one time. So she's so close. So now, she's got to get that. She's got to work on a little bit and get her reaction time down. Maybe hold the throttle pedal down the whole way, the whole time. Type deal. It's a problem I have. And then last up,
one name that we talked about a bunch before going into this, and I haven't heard here. Talk a little bit about the Deal Brothers and what happened there.
So they did some testing on what we would call day 0, but it was a private test session. It wasn't part of the event, but I think it probably will become part of the event moving forward. So we didn't have times. The boards were off because they were also testing for a big small tire race they were having out there. And then the Deal Brothers come out 676 on day 1, bro. Just, laid the boards down on it. It was impressive, being a full second ahead. But as David goes to pull away from the end of the track down there, he said it felt like something was binding up in the transmission. And then finally, he said he heard a big pop, and it was like a release of tension in the transmission. Well, what it had done was hurt the planetaries, which completely ruined first gear for them. And so they ended up making the drive because we were going from Dragway 42 to Milan, which puts them back in the same area with a lot of their friends, Sarah Johnston and her husband, and all those guys, Travis Fathi, and all those guys that we know from up in that area. And so they were going back there. So they put it on the lift, they pulled the transmission out, and they were gonna, they thought it was just clutches or something like that had welded together, or had meshed together, not welded, but turns out it was planetaries. Couldn't get apart in time. Nobody had one that would handle 3,000 plus horsepower. And so, they basically DNF'd from there, but they worked on it hard late into the night on Friday night after meeting everybody at Chris Ryder's place at Mountain Machine and then Right Coat. So it's pretty cool to hang out with those guys, and they had a lot of fun. I think we're definitely going to see them back next year because, one, they got to get redemption, but then two, they're trying to bring in some fast cars. Like, they're already on Steve Morse, trying to get him to come up. Kyle Morse would do really well in any class he chooses. I think he would do great in the 850 index stuff with the Blue Mustang. I know it's faster than that, but we know he is, he can tickle the keys, like all that. But that car's probably fast enough to go in a street car too. So, mid sevens out of that class would be pretty interesting.
For sure.
So that's our updates for Heads Up Hustle. Again, we'll dig in a lot more on Saturday morning once we get the guests lined out for all of that stuff. But we've gone way over, dude, and I'm really sorry to the Havliks because we got to get rolling here. So again, we'll be talking about all of Heads Up Hustle. Just big shout out to Jared Bonnet, who was my Uber driver when I got to town. Drove me around in this 51 Ford, took me to their shop. Super cool experience. And then on our way back, Mike Murata in a twin turbo Volvo 740, bro.
Love that.
Primo stuff right here. Stick shift car, made a rip from about 50 to 130-ish, something like that on the highway. Man, I'm all
allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah, in Mexico. It was a great car. Looks great, rides great. Hood, no bulges in the hood or anything. And man, when we made a rip past this dude in a 4Runner, the guy didn't know what was happening. It was pretty cool because, like, you see this factory Volvo wheels, and then it just makes us just wastegates wide open. Like all the fun. So
yeah, again,
big shout out to Molly as we move into the second half of the show here. Probably not second half, but as we move on here. So Paul, with these guys on here, I think it's going to be tough. So dude, I want to say thanks for coming on tonight, man. It's awesome to spend some time with you. I hope folks that are here will take the time and go over and, man, listen to hundreds of hours of you talk on All Cylinders podcast. It was pretty cool to have the back and forth tonight. So I just want to say thank you before we jump into this stuff for you coming on tonight, man.
That pleasure is all mine. I mean, I'm glad we got a chance to finally hook up and do this thing, man. It's great. And it's great talking to you guys, and keep on keeping on.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to find you a co-pilot seat for one of these weekend events that is up in the area.
I'd love it.
All right, buddy. See you soon.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks. All right, man. You want to move us into this second half of the show here, and we'll bring in the Havliks?
Absolutely. So appreciate all of our race car friends for tuning in so far. Thank you, and thanks to all the race car friends you got to hang out with there at a Heads Up Hustle. And again, can't do this without our sponsors. Big thanks to Summit Racing Equipment, Paul, for being on here tonight. Tommy, everybody else that we've dealt with over the years. I appreciate all of those guys at Summit Racing Equipment. Deechworks, Molly Motorsports, Driven Racing Oil, Howard's Cams, J-Wire Solutions, AFCO Racing Products, Performer Built Transmissions, Car Chains 3D, Low Dollar Motorsports, Power Tube TV, and Racing Junk. And we'll hit this ad read, and then we can jump right into the Havliks and talk about the fastest street car shootout.
From street miles to track passes, your fuel system has one job: perform when it matters most. At Deechworks, we engineer high-performance fuel systems built for the demands of drag and drives. From injectors and fuel pumps to filters and regulators, every component is engineered to be reliable and consistent under real-world conditions. Whether you're chasing a personal best or driving hundreds of miles between tracks, Deechworks delivers the fuel system your build requires.
All right. We ready to bring them on?
Let's do it.
Right. It's down.
Oh, sorry. That's my fault. Sorry, guys. I'm kicking you off and everything. All right, guys. I want to start off by saying sorry. I told these guys like 8:15, and it's now 8:38. So appreciate you being so patient.
No problem. Yeah, we're awake.
You've only got another week of 20-hour days.
I can see that. That's all right. Sorry, I was just trying to make it bigger on my end.
Oh, what'd you say?
I was just trying to make the screen bigger on our end.
Oh, yeah. All right, let's get into this thing, man, because I'm telling you, Eric and I say it all the time. This is one of our favorite events of the year. The Hot Rods by Havlik fastest street car shootout. What started as like a tribute reunion race is now like this animal, man. Like there's some badass cars coming, some super cool people, a lot of really fun stuff. And just again, this shot, iconic, bro. I think as we move into the next 15, 20 years of this event, this shot here is just going to become more and more iconic.
Yeah, hopefully the fireball gets bigger, the track gets so overfull, we'll be parking them in the grass and
bring it on.
Become more chaos. That's what we're looking for.
Well, and you guys are good at chaos, man. That's for sure. You guys do a hell of a job with that kind of stuff. And is this the fourth year for this event?
Third
year. Okay. You guys are you're seasoned professionals now.
I guess.
Yeah.
or we're just good at faking it till you make it, I guess. I don't know.
No way.
Yeah.
And you guys are awesome at this. The one thing I will say is your level of commitment to promotion should be studied by other promoters, us included, man. I feel like we post a lot, but I'll get on to the Hot Rods by Havlik's page and be like, does this guy sleep? Do they sleep?
It's 24/7, man.
I mean, we do try to put the effort into it because, I mean, with it being a tribute race, that's part of it. And I mean, if we lose grasp of that and paying attention to those details of those people that started this, it kind of moves away from what the event started at. So we really try to make sure there's personal touches here and there. There's some interesting things that'll happen this year that, are part of that too. So every year we try to come up with new stuff, but it's just like anything else. It's a battle to always come up with something new.
Oh, preach it, brother.
There's many events out there anymore.
Well, and I think this is for a lot of your drag and drive guys that you guys have known for a long time because y'all drag and drive race and stuff. You're supported by a lot of those guys as well at this event. And I think it just helps it that much more because it's almost like a break for us guys that are used to going for drag week. You have a lot of drag week racers and Rocky Mountain Race Week racers that come up. And so for those guys to have to, they're punishing their bodies and their cars and stuff like that. I hate to say car guy vacation, but because there's a lot on the line here at this race, but they don't have to worry about driving 300 or 400 miles each night,
Yeah, I think it gives the racer a little bit more racer time to kind of get that feel on the track too, with a little bit of drive. Last year people didn't think the drive was that big a deal, and there were a lot of people that left with their trailer or without their drag and drive trailer that wish they would have taken it. So I think that'll be different this year. But
oh yeah, for sure. Well, give us just a quick backstory to this event and then why you brought it back.
Well, originally when we first went about this, Tri-State, where we had it the first year, contacted us about doing something different up there because they're a big bracket racetrack and one of our home tracks too. And they just asked if we'd put something together, and they're like, we have a day and do whatever you guys want. And so then we just started throwing stupid ideas out there and made a couple phone calls, and
because we like chaos.
And it was like we went right to what we love, what we grew up with, the fast street car shootout stuff, and everybody we called with was like, hell yeah, let's do it. And it just spooled from there, and it was call after call after call, and just a lot of legwork, locating people, trying to figure everything out.
That first year was, from
we had
from the day we started, we had 6 months to make everything happen. And sponsors came together, racers came together, and it all worked out. It was an opportunity for us to get back to what started, this culture, this movement. And one of the big things is that these people didn't have social media like we do now. Right. And back then they were recognized, but you had to go there. You had to see them. You didn't just have the ease of getting on your phone and being like, oh, that's cool. And or even becoming somebody. It's so easy to post something and, possibly become famous anymore. But they didn't have that opportunity. So for us to be able to give that opportunity back to some of them, that was a big deal to us. And, you know, I mean, thankfully they have all come, they've committed, and, you know, keep coming, and we keep getting other cars and other, you know, historic cars that, you know, are potentially going to come. And, you know, we don't know what's going to show up every time, but they're coming back out. It's just
get them all moving again, and get, you know, everything's been stuck in a corner for so long. And, you know, I mean, like Danny Scott's got both of his cars. I'm like, I wish we could get him to bring those out, you know, the Cars Inc., Chevelle and Camaro, the turquoise ones. But, you know, I mean, everybody's getting older, and this should have happened about 5 to 10 years sooner is what it should have happened. So, it's been,
so for folks that don't know, the fastest street car shootout was like 92 to 95, and that really kind of drove into the pump gas drags, which then, you know, became drag weeks. I mean, this is like
it's like the start
of OG street car stuff.
I mean, even your small tire stuff, you know, I mean, it was pro street like shootout in the beginning, but, you know, Randy Lambert worked with Freiberger. And 93, they did the 10.5. I mean, I don't know if that's where 10.5 started, but that's where I remember it starting.
And I mean, like, you know, you start thinking about the time frame, mid 90s. You know, we are in the heyday of like magazines trying to do whatever they can do. You know, I mean, to put an event like this together, I can't imagine the undertaking of getting somebody to say yes. And Freiberger, I think, has told that story, or maybe Brian Lone's told that story. And then to be able to come out and do it. And now getting some of these original cars back, I think, is what I enjoyed the most. I mean, you know, I think that's cool to look back and see some of those cars. And one car that's going to be there this year is Miss Annette Summers in 3.0.
Yep.
So this should be pretty wild. This is a car I've never seen in person. She's raced the last 2 years in the other pink car. I don't know what she calls that thing, but this is going to be gnarly. A lot of nitrous cars, a lot of big block nitrous stuff at this. So the cool thing about Cordova is as it gets cool at night, dude, that's when nitrous is like primo time for purging. If we could figure out turbo purges, I'd be in heaven. But nitrous stuff, man, that's where it's at.
Yeah. I mean, Annette's gone through a lot of work, and a lot of times when I talk to her, she always says, you know, you're making me spend a lot of money, and it's payback is what it is. I mean, because when we were younger, we had to spend a ton of money because we wanted to be like them. So, you know, I mean, totally grateful that she's putting the effort in. She's an awesome sponsor every year.
Yes.
Can't thank her enough for being committed like she is. And, you know, I mean, think about it. She's rebuilt 2 cars in the last 2 years, because we're just getting to the 3rd year. So, you know, I mean, she's put a ton of effort into both of them cars. I mean, the original pink car, it was sitting on Jackson since 96. It got parked in 96 and it moved until 2 years ago. You know, so I mean, the car had to be completely gone through. And then she bought 3.0 back, and it was the same thing. I mean, it had been sitting in a container, and
that's so cool.
You know, found it and just completely went through the whole car. So it's kind of new, but not. But you know, it's going to be awesome to see her be able to actually let it rip and stay in it, and you know, everything's up to date, and she doesn't like to lift, so it should be.
It's one of the funnest things to watch. You know, these guys take these cars that are OGs. You know, I mean, they're out there, and these cars have made hundreds of thousands of passes. I would say probably not hundreds, but thousands of passes over the years. And now these are cars that were mothballed. You know, they didn't have a place to race. They really didn't have a spot. And for some of these cars, it was kind of exhibition stuff. Now these guys are getting them ready to come out here and race and do battle. So let me ask you this wasn't on the list of stuff I sent you, but as racers, as race car fans, do you feel like this race is going to bring more people back to the stands because that's what they experienced in the in like the mid 90s? Because they had to be there, just like you said earlier, they had to be there to experience this and be firsthand. You know, maybe we've gotten away a little from that a little bit because they could watch it on the live stream, which you have a live stream, but I feel like this is people are going to relive more of this fun stuff, seeing these cars again by being here at the event.
Well, I mean, that's one reason we did the whole spectator ride along deal, trying to get the spectators out there and involved. I mean, how cool would that be to go for a ride in a Lenko shifted car,
Right.
I mean,
we were talking with Larry about it like at the beginning of the year, and Larry's like, I'd be okay with, doing it with the OG car. And then we thought, yeah, we'll get a handful, and that'd be cool. And then like we started kind of doing it, and like then all the racers started contacting us that wanted to do it, and then it just kind of like spooled, and then it's like, you know what? These guys want to go take spectators for a ride. We'll do as many as we can. We'll fill staging lanes and stuff. So I mean, we did the giveaway drawing for the weekend passes already for those 24 cars, and then the day of on Thursday, everybody that's there prior to the ride-alongs, they're going to be able to get in the drawing for a drawing that day, because we still have a whole list of other cars that want to get involved and get the spectators. So if we can fill the lanes, that would be awesome.
Dude, how
the rate.
So I want these people that are watching to understand this. You can literally ride in one of the race cars. You can ride in a race car as a passenger if you're there on Thursday. Like it's a drawing. You got to get there. You got to buy your tickets. You get put in the drawing. Man,
tickets are free.
Yeah.
Do what?
Tickets are free to get in the drawing.
Wow.
You get into the event, you get to put your name in the drawing.
Oh, that's awesome. So just the ticket for the entry is your entry into the drawing.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
2 o'clock.
Dude, you guys are wild. This is going to drive people to build cars. Because I'll tell you this much, if I ever ride in Goldstone's Javelin, I'm going to need a fast car.
Yeah, so at 2 o'clock, we're going to keep drawing names until we run out of cars.
Yep.
Wow.
So,
man, that's awesome. And that's on Thursday.
Yep.
Okay. And you need to be there Thursday anyways, because you need to be there to experience this gigantic, incredible photo shoot. I mean, what this shot from Dirty Panda doesn't show is the starting line. Dude, all of these racers were on the starting line because we had to get out of the way, one, for the shot to be the best. But then, two, we all wanted to see that big explosion.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So everybody just plan to be there Thursday. What time is the photo shoot, and what's the schedule for Thursday?
So Thursday, gates will open at 8 a.m., and then we'll have tech inspection till 5. Red line ride along starts at 3 p.m. We'll do the drawing for on-site people to, get a ride also. And then probably we're going to shoot for 6 o'clock to start setting up for the photo shoot. We're changing it up a little bit this year. We've got it's one of those things you got to change it up a little bit every year to make it a little fresh and new. So a little bit different layout. Might take a little bit more time, but we'll work through that. And then hopefully, depending on how many cars show up Thursday, we're going to fill that track as far as we can. And like I said, we'll park them on the grass if we got to. So if everybody wants to come Thursday, we'll find a spot for you out there.
Dude, that's so cool.
And then shooting for, probably 7:30ish, kind of about what it was last year when we light the bomb and take the picture. But where the bomb will be similar, but there's going to be some changes to that too. But you'll see that when you're there.
Nice. And that's something you got to be there. That's not live streamed. One thing was really cool last year when Eric was taking photos, obviously, but the amount of photos taken, like he's recording, was it on your phone or on a GoPro on top of the camera?
It was on my phone.
Dude, it's like it was crazy. Everybody was the same way. I mean, we were all recording. There were 150 phones up in the air, and we had a GoPro set up and had the big camera set up, and man, it was all over the place. It was really cool.
Yeah, we've got a couple pictures of people taking pictures. Like there were cameras pointing the other way of everybody standing there taking pictures. So that was kind of entertaining to see too.
How cool.
Well, also after the photo bomb this year, there'll be a live band also playing at Cordova. The Cordova is sponsoring. And then John from Delta Pag he is going to have a whole bunch of pizza on site too. So
wow.
John isn't going to be able to attend this year. He's had a little one and he's got a lot on his plate with all that. So he's not going to be able to make it, but he is going to supply a whole bunch of pizza. So everybody come hungry, because after the photo shoot, there'll be pizza and live music. So,
dude, that'll be awesome. That'll be so awesome. And that's Thursday. So that'll wrap Thursday. What are we doing Friday?
So Friday, the gates open at 8, and final tech expense. Game talk. Final tech will go till noon. Then we'll have a free test and tune, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Also at 10 p.m. is when the drive's going to go for the offsite drive for all drag and drive classes and true street classes. Anybody else that wants to jump in on it can go along too. This year we changed the route up a little bit. There's a little bit of light road construction, we'll call it. In Leclerc, last year we had to change things up because the bridge was closed, and they had construction in Leclerc, but now they've dug some trenches across the road and then filled them up with gravel. It's 25 mile an hour through there, so you can. I mean, it's not that big a deal to idle over them. Yeah. There's like I think 4 or 5 of them you got to idle over, but
nice.
That's for light construction. But now that the bridge is open, we're going to go up through Clinton, do a little bit more city driving in there. That wasn't really on there much last year. So I feel like we got a pretty good
test those cooling systems.
Yeah, we got. Well, I mean, those that were stuck on the bridge for an hour or whatever, that's theirs because of the accident that happened last year.
Yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't happen this year.
Yeah.
But Twisted Shifters will be the checkpoint there too, and they're working on some fun things there that we don't quite have locked in, but like they like to have fun at Twisted Sisters. So like,
yeah. Doug Needle probably won the burnout competition, unofficial burnout competition last year. Man, he laid one down out in front of their place.
Oh yeah. And at 10 o'clock, the Pro Street Elite and the rest of the car show will start too. This year we have the Street Machines class added to it and the Hot Rod class added to it. So,
dude, the show last year was incredible.
Yeah,
absolutely incredible.
Yeah, and this year too, all the car show stuff, Pro Street Elite, all them guys, if they got the right tires, a drag radial or a slick, with that free test and tune, the quick performance is given everybody. They're able to make passes in the test and tune session that whole day.
Oh, cool.
As long as they got to go through tech, all that stuff too. But if they got the right equipment, they'll be making some passes this year too.
Wow, that's interesting. And I'm sure at that point, just go on over and sign up for a heads up class. You know what I mean? Like if you're going to make test passes, go ahead and just sign up for that.
Yeah. Well, kind of
like your show car and race it.
Yeah, kind of like you said you were going to bring your car, so I mean you might as well get in the class.
Yeah, I mean I'm thinking 1150 index and just be the number 11 team qualifier.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because never been that fast. Do you have a slower than slow class? That's what I need.
We'll do a media class. We'll line up together.
There we go.
Hey, I have beat Jesse Fox. He needs redemption, so he can get back at me.
All right. Well, then the car show is going to start at that time too, and then we'll have a drivers meeting after the test and tune, which goes to 4, I believe, and then after that we'll hopefully start qualifying around 6 p.m. We'll do 2 qualifying runs that night. The index guys obviously don't need to qualify, but they'll be able to make passes in there too.
Be time runs basically.
Yeah. Yep. So it should be good racing into the night.
Yeah. So that's Friday night. So that will take us, man. That's going to be till 11 o'clock, probably something like that, 10 or 11 o'clock. So that's all day. That's all day.
It'll be a long day.
Yep.
Yeah. Bring it on. I'm ready, man. It's going to be great. And for fans and spectators, just buy the weekend pass now and just camp or sleep in your car or whatever, throw some food and drinks in your cooler. But also Cordova has an incredible restaurant there. They do a great job at the bar, and it's got air conditioning. I don't think we're going to need it though. It looks like the weather's going to be perfect.
It does.
That's what we're hoping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As promoters, man, that's the only thing that's like not in our control.
I know. It was freezing the first year and scorching hot last year. If we could just hit the middle, that'd be great.
Yeah. Hey, that's fine, man. And I'll tell you what, you guys have earned it. That's I hope the weather is incredible for you. I hope a ton of spectators come out because we need it. I mean, for drag racers, if we would spectate more, our shit would get built. You know, like you would get motivated to go home and work on your stuff.
Well, we've definitely had some phone calls and conversations with people that, you know, I mean, one was they're flying in from Hawaii to come to the event. We got some Australians coming, Washington. I mean, spectators. This isn't racers. This is just spectators coming. You know,
how cool.
So I mean, the draw is there, and you know, to touch on what you were saying earlier about, you know, this is kind of an event that people used to come out and watch, and that's, you know, that is what we're trying to create. And that's something new that we're doing, you know, for Saturday with that whole schedule with TW Metal sponsoring the featured show at 6 p.m. So, you know, trying to group that stuff together a little bit too, instead of just running all day and trying to see what you want to see. But, you know, Saturday at 6 p.m. is going to be everything. You're going to have semifinals and finals of every classes, you know, the NA Shootout, Outlaw, all that stuff, Dragon Drive Shootout, and all the exhibition cars will be running, you know, making passes during all that show too. So, you know, from 6 to 10 p.m. Saturday night, that is for surely the time you don't want to miss.
Right.
Yeah, that's going to be an incredible time. I can't wait until Saturday. Friday, though, that's going to be a good one. Tom Wilhelm asking, do you guys need any extra help with setup on Wednesday?
He already knows what his job is.
Hopefully.
We need hype.
Yeah. No, he's definitely going to be helping out, and him and Julie are going to be in the tech, helping John Sears and his team. We're color coding what classes they're going to be in to kind of make it a little easier for Sears and the whole race director team to be able to kind of associate some of that. So they're going to be in there sticking stickers on your car. And you know, they know all the racers. They're always willing to help. They're good people, and we're excited to have them help out.
That's awesome. Well, I want to dig into the Dragon Drive stuff here just real quick. But big shout out! I'm excited for Joe Barry to be there. This car now has an automatic in it. It's gonna be really cool to watch it go down. Guys, listen, August 6th through 8th. Just buy the weekend pass right now, because we're gonna start talking about the Dragon Drive side of stuff. But let me end this, and then we'll do the next ad read, and then we'll talk about Dragon Drive. Big shout out to Deechworks, again, sponsors of the show and news here with the segment. Title sponsor of the Short Circuit coming up. Feed the Racer sponsor. I mean, they make sure that all of our racers at the single day events get fed and all that kind of stuff. So AFCO Racing Products, one of your sponsors as well. Racers know when you want performance that wins, you want AFCO. From shocks and suspension to cooling brakes and more, AFCO Racing has been helping teams go faster for over 30 years. Built by racers, for racers. Check out the AFCO Advantage and follow them today on social media for the latest in performance parts. AFCO Racing, built to win. I want to give a big shout out to Eric Saffel and Rex French. They're huge supporters of what we do here at Drag Drive Repeat, but also you can find them at a lot of different Drag and Drive events across the country. They're always out there doing fun, cool stuff. So let's talk about this Drag and Drive Shootout, man. I'm ready. There are some heavy hitters. How about third place overall? Willie Fair coming out in the 55 here, or 56? Six, I think. This car, I mean, bad to the bone. Can't wait to see him there. Of course, Tony Wiseman, one of the funnest cars to watch. This car is like, I don't know, it's so loud, and it's one of the few cars that do drag and drive with like a roots blower on them. Like one of the few. Rich Pedraza, I haven't seen him race his car in several years, so I'm really excited to see him. We're posting a lot of these cars over on Drag Drive Repeat. Of course, tagging the Havliks. You'll see those photos on there, but you guys have to go follow the Havliks as well. Hot Rods by Havlik on Facebook. The workload you guys put in is insane. But let's talk about this route map. Walk us through a little bit of what's going on here. What river are we going to drive down? What should we be looking for? All that kind of fun stuff.
Basically, we're doing a loop around the Mississippi Valley. You're going to follow the Mississippi south and then go through all the small towns, and you get a little bit of Interstate 80 jumping across the river, and back up north through some more small towns, and through Clinton will get you some traffic. On the other side of Clinton's Fulton, and that's where Twisted Shifters will be, and then the return back. It's basically a big loop this year.
This will be really fun. It wasn't a loop last year, right? Because of the
construction. We had to backtrack a little bit up there. We took the first bridge instead of the second one.
Gotcha. Yeah, there was a spot. I don't remember. Eric, do you remember the name of that town we went through where we stopped, pulled over in those people's yard and got the photos for an hour?
No, but I did pass that during Sixth Summer, and I definitely chuckled as I drove past. I was like, I wonder if those people ever knew that we sat there for that long.
We just stood in their front yard taking pictures and videos, man. It was incredible. Had the river in the background, and it was, man, really good spot, really good scenery here. I kind of can't wait for this. My plan is to take the old truck up and make the route. I guess I'll have to if I'm racing, but
yeah.
If I'm a first round duck.
Might as well, you can say you did it.
Yeah.
Well, there'll be nitrous refill on site, so I mean,
there you go.
You can get in. You can get in the 1150 class.
Oh man, that's all I need. Just to spray about a 150 shot on this turbo, just completely.
But look how cool the truck would be with the big Havliks banner on it. Okay,
dude,
that's what you need to think about.
It'd be worth putting it on there.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think that will definitely be the plan. A lot of cool stops along that route. A lot of really neat drive, and of course, we say this all the time. The great thing about Drag and Drive is that it creates a reason for you to make those trips. It creates a reason. I mean, listen, without this event, somebody's not going to fly from Washington or Hawaii to come to a Cordova bracket race. They're generally not going to do that. But they're going to come to this because there's a lot of really cool stuff going on. And to be able to see, I know y'all can't read it, but the list of names on this Drag and Drive stuff is badass. It's a list of absolute hitters, man. I mean, this is just the cream of the crop stuff. And we joked about it, or we talked about it a couple weeks ago, but Larson's bringing 3 cars to this. I feel like he's bringing the S10 to test for Drag Week, which will be back at Cordova in September. So it's a perfect opportunity for him to do some testing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think this event is great for that, for a lot of guys that want to, just put some track time on the car before Drag Week, and it's perfect timing.
Yeah, I mean, even if you get eliminated, we'll have a test and tune lane open throughout the whole event that'll be used as filler too. So like guys that are trying to get their stuff ready for Drag Week are going to have plenty of opportunity to do that too. Even Saturday.
Yeah, and it keeps the show going for the fans too.
Sure. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And maybe we can get some really cool grudge races going on, because there's going to be there's going to be the right people there to make some cool races.
You mean like Bryant Goldstone and Larry Larson, who were supposed to run the grudge race a couple weeks ago, or a match race a couple weeks ago, and didn't get to make it run? Maybe we'll see them guys next to each other,
Yeah, I mean, it'd be pretty awesome to see a couple side by side 5-second passes
going into Drag Week. Oh boy. Yeah.
Do not threaten me.
For what we're going to see at Drag Week.
Yeah, I can't wait. I think this event will lean into that, and I think the more we see these really cool events like this, the more these Drag and Drive racers are gonna. It's an opportunity for them to do some heads up racing, because we don't do that in Drag and Drive typically. Outside of about 3 events, there's no real heads up stuff. Like Rocky Mountain Race Week, you run all week, set your average, and then you race at the end. This is we're going to be racing. It's going to be freaking awesome, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
What all classes are in the Drag and Drive Shootout?
Well, as far as classes, I mean, it's a separate class of its own besides it being broke up into a big tire and a small tire. So basically, you got two classes.
Because we're here to find the fastest street car.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's literally the goal. Not a come one, come all, everybody fits. It's like, this is, we want to find the fastest real deal street car. How many miles is the route? 50?
It's just a little over 50.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. That's far enough. You know, I feel like that proves it.
Yep.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, yeah, we're trying to find the fastest street car out there, but we're not turning anybody away. And I think there's some people that get a little bit, turned off by the event because they don't want to come out because they feel like, they might not be fast enough. But that's not necessarily all true. I mean, yes, that's the goal. We want to see fast stuff. Who doesn't? But there's a place for everybody. That's why we have index classes. There's 4 separate index classes all the way from 850, 950, 1050, 1150. And then there's a class that every car fits in one way or another. So
yeah, I mean, if you're looking to run 13s, just come race me.
Well, the Drag and Drive Shootout, like that's all done by qualifying. So we have the Rocky Mountain Race Week small tire class, and then we have WFO Productions big tire quick 8 class. So those are both going to be, your top 8 of small and big tire. Everybody else that doesn't qualify for those is going to go together in another all-in shootout. So doing that by qualifying, we're basically making 3 really good, like, competitive classes out of the Drag and Drive Shootout, basically.
Oh, yeah.
And the NA class is set up that way, too. So there'll be a quick 8 NA, and then like a non-qualifier NA, but basically regular NA and the quick 8 NA.
Yeah, like a second chance race almost.
Right. But doing it off of qualifying, it puts together like some really, really great classes.
Yeah, that's interesting. So those guys for the NA Shootout, that's brought to you Hot Rod Magazine. Big shout out to Mike Galimi and the team over there. I can't wait. They've been covering cars in that class for the last 2 months, I think, something like that, in Hot Rod Magazine itself. So that's really cool. I mean, good job to you guys on getting them on board. That's just awesome to see the kind of coverage that you've earned here. I mean, it's hard to get that stuff,
We will have Hot Rod on site too.
That's awesome.
One guy there, possibly 2. We don't know for sure, but there will be somebody there walking the pits doing that.
How cool. So. Dude, that's awesome. That is so awesome.
Along with 10 others too.
Yeah,
coming this year. So
a lot of media teams coming. I know Richard Brewer and I have been talking. Dirty Panda, he's going to be on site with some drone work and stuff like that, and then reels and things. I mean, of course, Eric and I will both be there. Eric is our I don't even bring a camera with me anymore. It's point and shoot stuff because Eric is so good at it. Makes myself look bad, but I'll be there getting some reels and interviews and content and stuff like that, so that'll be kind of fun. And then of course some of the racing and stuff. So, and then a bunch of other folks. Alan Smith is in here making comments. I'll go, Mr. Fabulous Photography. He's going to be over there. He's doing I think he's doing a lot of stuff with Annette Summers, so that'll be kind of cool when they're running into this event. And he was backing her up last year and all that kind of fun stuff.
He's bringing his car, so you should bring yours. And he's actually
I'm driving mine up. I told him to drive his. He said no, it's too much of a race car. So I'm going to have 400 and something miles or 600 miles on it before I even get there. It's street car ready. I'm going to pull it up right now actually and see how far it is. I mean, it made it to New York City and back. Let's be honest. It'll be fine. A once over is always good for it, right?
Right. Send it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be not quite as long as New York and back, but it'll still be a little bit of a trip for you.
Yeah, it's 550 miles one way to get from my house to Cordova. So bring it on, brother. That'll be cool. And I can't think of a better reason to do that. So I don't have the list of racers here in front of me, but what are you most excited about for this Drag and Drive Shootout?
All of it.
It was great last year.
Yeah,
So
it's
like,
a tough question.
it is.
I mean, there's so much competition there that we don't really get to see, I think, at a drag and drive event, because you're kind of racing yourself. But now putting it in perspective that, you know, now we're racing heads up, and these guys are actually competing against each other, not so much just themselves, is I think that's the part that draws me to it, because I like that competition factor there.
Well, that and it kind of, you know, I mean, it's not always the fast car wins, you know, I mean,
Oh yeah.
you know, reaction time, everything plays a big role. A slower car's got a good chance of, you know, getting a hold of a faster car that like doesn't got a handle on the track, or who knows what happens, you know. I mean, Goldstone tends to not turn his air bottle on once in a while.
Well, I wasn't going to call him out like that, but
He's texting us while we're sitting.
He's beating us up here.
Yeah.
the other side of that too is like, you know, a lot of these drag and drive guys, they don't necessarily make a ton of passes heads up like that, where a light matters. You know, it's like, I'm going to go out here and make the best pass I can instead of, you know, making a pass next. So I pulled up your email from the other day. How about this list of names? Joe Barry, Randy Fuller, which you guys will know took the NA spot at Sick Week, I think, in one of Fast Eddie's cars. Will Patton's coming, Rich Pedraza, Nick Cryer, Audrey Beeler, Robert Lamperic, you know him, Larry Larson, Tom McGilton, Chuck Sorensen in the Valiant. I think everybody's going to love that car once they get a hold of it. And look at Jerry Kniesel, Clark Rosensingel's bringing the black 5th gen. How about this family? Steve Morris, Kyle Morris, Val Morris. Bro, does it get any cooler than that?
Yeah.
And then Goldstone, Glenn Hunter's on this list. I mean, dude, the Tri-5 Chevrolets that come out to this event,
Yeah, it's
next
great.
level shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Tri-5 Nationals always happens at the same time, but like we kind of got our own little mini Tri-5 National.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, Steve Hunsinger says Pro Street cars. Yeah, dude, Pro Street. It's an understatement. The level of Pro Street that comes to this.
Yeah,
because you guys are in the second year. This was the second year for really the Pro Street Elite deal.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I feel like you've done this more than 2 times before. I feel like we've Tri-State was a great year, but like that Cordova show last year was just badass.
Yeah, that was a good time. As long as the heat would just be a little less.
Yeah, it will be this year. I mean, we're like Tom said, it looks like it's going to be in the 80s, low 90s, something like that.
Lower humidity, hopefully.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Tommy Dupree in here said NMCA at Memphis in the 90s is why I am a door streetcar fanatic.
Heck yeah, that's why a lot of us are.
Yeah, 100%.
And a nitrous addict. I mean,
yeah, plenty of that.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Here, let me go back to this shot because it's one of my favorites. Big shout out to Dirty Panda. I mean, dude, like that car to me is just badass. That thing.
Oh yeah, Bruce. Yeah, he's ready to go this year too.
Yeah, and then Randy Lambert's. I'm ready to see that car back again. That's going to be cool. And the cars, CARS cars, those are going to be awesome.
Yeah, and then Jeff Atkinson is bringing the Tom Hammond Outlaw Champion car too. They just added to his collection. Which is
wow,
dude,
and
that's awesome.
Gets a ride on it. Actually, all 3 cars are taking rides.
Wow,
that'll be cool. Hopefully, whoever gets in one of those cars will appreciate it. That's pretty cool.
The great thing is, like, this is going to sound bad, but as race car, cool car guys, we're all about kids getting into our cars. All about it. Like, oh man, you're 10 years old, get in that thing, sit in the driver's seat. We need to do that more with adults. Like, we need oh, you're a 42-year-old guy kind of into car, get in that seat right there, see how you fit that thing, and hold that steering wheel. Because I'm telling you, we just need more cars finished, man. More people attending events, more cars finished, more cars built, all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we all got to sit in people's car, but this is taking it to a next level and
Oh yeah.
getting an actual ride in it. I mean, if I was young or even still now, I still would want to do that if I had the opportunity.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
One-
GoPro. Somebody tag GoPro in this and tell them we need 35 GoPros between now and we need them by next Wednesday so we can get them all set up in cars.
I mean, who wouldn't want to like sit in Larson's car or Goldstone's car and go down the track? Like, I don't care if you're 10 or 50. Like, you're not going to have the opportunities to do that very, very often.
No,
Never, dude, never. Not a very often. It never. Like, this has never happened before. Like, you guys are breaking the rule book here, and I love it.
You know, I mean, it's a great chance for the spectators to meet the drivers too. You know, I mean, not only get in the car, but actually, you know, talk to the driver and find out what it's like.
Yeah, and thanks to all the racers that you know have gotten involved. I mean, we've had some people, you know, want to call the person that has, you know, won the ride and wants to talk to them, and you know, and you know, the racers are just as excited about it as, you know, the spectators are. Some people are, you know, going to bring some shirts for some of the people that are won rides, you know, and they're going above and beyond to make it special for the people that won the ride too. So I mean, hats off to you guys, you know, whether you're watching or not, but thank you for participating in this and, you know, bringing a chance to spectators that just isn't something you get to do.
Yeah. And if you are a racer or pro streeter, because there is RDB has a whole lineup of that, you know, it's pretty bad pro street cars that are doing it too. But like if you want to do it, talk to us. You know, we'll add it right to it. The more people we can get in there, the better.
Hell yeah. All right, let's end this segment here. I'm trying to end the show by 2.5 hours. So guys, thanks so much. AFCO, it's going to be awesome. Do you know, is AFCO coming this year? Are they going to set up a truck?
Yep, they'll be there.
Oh man, hell yes.
Yeah, they're
can't wait to hang out with Eric and those guys.
Yep.
Yeah, that'll be a ton of fun. All right, Eric, you want to do some Performer Built transmission stuff?
Yep. Performer Built is the official transmission builder of Drag Drive Repeat. At Performer Built Transmissions, their goal is to engineer and build the toughest transmissions on the planet. Performer Built doesn't just rebuild transmissions, they systematically re-engineer each model to eliminate OEM flaws and achieve the highest levels of performance. That is why they say their transmissions are not just built, they are Performa built.
All right, so this last little bit here, let's take like 8 or 9 minutes and tell some fun stories from the last 2 years, not from the promoter side, but from just experiences you guys have had, you know, that you didn't get maybe back in the night. What are some fun things that have happened to you guys over the last 2 years?
Well, I can say that, you know, when we were younger looking at this stuff and, you know, wanting to be these people, we're probably young enough and timid enough that you didn't get the opportunity to really make a connection with these people. But now it's totally different. Like phone calls we've had for hours. I mean, literally hours. I don't even know how long some of them have been, but to just look back and think there was a time where you were like, I wish I knew these people. I wish I could be them. I wish I could hang out with them more. And then here we are. They're in your phone now, you know, I can call them up anytime. And it's like we're best friends, you know, and
that's awesome.
Having that relationship is something that I think is it kind of blows my mind because I just didn't think that at this day in my life I would have that opportunity. But
do you still struggle with like, am I cool enough to talk to that person?
Yeah, you kind of feel that way. I mean, it really does, you know. But when you get into it, though, really they're just like you and me. I mean, but you look at them different. We always have, you know, and looked up to them, and you know they were celebrities and didn't even know it, and they still are to us. But now we're friends, so it's like it's just different. It's not what I thought it would turn into, but it has. And I mean, there were hopefully friendships and relationships that we'll have the rest of our lives with them too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, hopefully you bring them to a race every year. for the rest of your life.
Well, that's the plan.
That would be the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my experiences, I will say, is the debut of the Corvette. Like, bro, super cool for him to do that there. I mean, there's so many opportunities for these guys to debut really cool cars and to take the chance and do it there. And I mean, Eric did a whole photo shoot, around this car, got this shot here. It's just, man, it was really, that's one of my top memories from, and this is just from last year. I can't imagine what we're going to get into this year.
Oh,
Yeah, and I mean, Goldstone's been a great supporter of our event. He, he's always willing to help out, give advice. We bounce things off him, with for like rules and stuff like that. And how do you think we should do this? And does this work better this way or whatever? And he's always willing to help. And I mean,
he likes to bust balls though too, so you gotta watch out.
Oh yeah.
I'm saying this, and he's probably asleep by now. But
Oh, it probably is. It's 9:25. He's definitely asleep.
yeah. So, but I mean, really though, I mean, he's a stand-up guy, and we greatly appreciate everything he's done to help out too, and look forward to always seeing him there. And then it goes with all the racers though too. I mean, without the racers, the fans, the spectators, the sponsors, I mean, none of this happens. So, we're just guys trying to talk people into, doing all that stuff. So,
yeah,
thankfully they listen.
Right.
Oh, I don't know. One of the cool things I noticed last year that I took some pictures of it, but I never really shared anything about it. But Bruce Polis with the Chevelle was having electrical problems, or something was going on there that, like, you couldn't figure out, and it was hot, and it was late at night, and like everybody, it was just like the drag week guys. It was awesome. Everybody's over there. Everybody's trying to help. Who was the distributor that was there? Florida Performance. Florida Performance. He was on call like all night. Like, hey, you got this part? And people are running over there. He's getting up out of his camper, getting parts out for these guys all night. But like, to see that camaraderie that like we see a lot in the drag and drive world, it's like these guys had it too. I mean, they were helping each other. I mean, there was rivalries, don't get me wrong, but like we're all the same. Like, it's that to me kind of hit me like that's where all this kind of came from, and it was all part of it. It was pretty cool.
Well, and beat them at their best. Don't beat them just because they couldn't make the class call. Help them get their car together, and so they can make the best run possible.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, like, one thing that, so like our age group, like we grew up and saw all these iconic cars. We were real young then, and Drag Week came about not too far off. Well, I was still that young punk kid, so like I got like the idols from like the old days, but then I got like the early Drag Week idols too. Larry, Denny Turzik, and those guys that we run with back then. Clark even, Clark was around. But that's kind of a cool deal just for me, because I kind of feel like a kid of both generations a little bit. And now that we're doing this race and we get to talk to all of them, it's kind of surreal, honestly. I still feel like the same kid, that's watching from the back.
Right, but now you're the dude. You're the guy in the front of the lanes. You're the guy making decisions and things like that, man. It's so cool to see too.
Yeah, I mean, Rod Sabry probably, expects me to contact him at some point every year, because I do, because you got to. But at some point he's gonna commit, if you keep poking. But and so. And hopefully that comes through at some point, but because he does know where the original Corvette is. It is accessible.
Wow!
But we just don't know yet. So we're working on him. And I told him, I said, I'm gonna call you every year until it happens. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. Another one of my favorites is Miss Annette. This is such a cool, iconic lady of power. I mean, like, she just, she broke so many barriers for females in the community. I mean, she is a take no shit kind of kind of lady to come out here. And, she gave Eric and I all the time we wanted. She would give us interviews anytime we came over, not just interviews, but also just good conversation. We stood there, I think, talking for an hour or something like that about just the camaraderie and things like that come from, these events, and everybody being nice and upfront and helping everybody, again, making the best pass they can. And so it's really cool to have, such a celebrity, in our opinion, for doing what she's done, to, basically just take the time to spend with everybody. And I'm telling you, there were people at her pits all weekend that were doing the same thing we were, just talking to her and hanging out. It was really cool.
Oh yeah, she's got a lot of good stories.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, she's pretty awesome.
I love the way she came out there that Friday night on that test thing. She come out there, killed the tires, purged it through the motor, and just let it rip, man. There was no easy pass. She just killing.
Yeah, and that car was all over the track. I mean, I think at some point she was running about 800 feet there in a 8th mile pass. She was all over the place. It was really fun to watch that car go down.
Oh yeah.
I think one of the things that sticks out to me too from last year is was one of your old cars that you got to drive, right? Wasn't it one of them that was yours from high school?
The Chevy 2, yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the original cars that I had back in. I can't remember. I mean, it's been 25, 30 years ago that I had that car, and I painted it that color back in the day.
Oh, that's so cool.
Built that car, but drove it at my wedding. And the guy that owns it now, he lives in Pennsylvania, and he brought it out to the event because my anniversary was on the event last year, my wedding anniversary. So yeah, we got to sit in it. Honestly, I got in it, and it felt like home. Like it never left. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. See you guys drive that over and got some pictures of that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's not something that just happens every day, right? Like you said, from Pennsylvania to bring that out is super cool.
Yeah, well, and it's kind of part of the event. The event touches feelings. When do you go to an event and there's tears at the awards ceremony? The first year was like, oh, we should have brought tissue boxes, like we were, and handed them out at the awards. But it's awesome though to see that. We touched people's lives, and we gave them something, and that is gratifying.
100%.
Yeah, on another note, this is Al Tucci's 40th year.
Oh wow!
So we're gonna have to do something.
That's really cool.
We're gonna do something special for him.
Yeah, that's really interesting, man. So announcers, you've got him, you've got Adam Dory coming up. Yeah. That'll be fun. I love to hear them two go back and forth because Al doesn't really do a bunch of drag and drive stuff at all, and so to hear Adam's color commentary about the racers and the stories that are going on, and Al's reaction to that, it's one of my favorite. The dual combo there is pretty cool.
Yeah, between the two of them, they cover the whole era.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure.
Right.
Yeah, and the knowledge that Al Tucci has is irreplaceable.
100% hit.
All that I have no idea, but it's amazing to watch him sit up there and talk too, because there isn't nothing wrote down. It's just all upstairs.
Yeah. It's pretty wild and for him to remember that stuff. I mean, you start thinking 95 was 31 years ago, you start figuring out like, holy shit, he called those races back then. He's calling them now. Like, how like what deep part of the Rolodex of his brain is bringing that info back up,
That's the stuff he loves. That's why he can remember it.
Yeah.
Man, awesome.
He probably never thought that there would come a day where he'd be announcing the same cars he did
right
now, So that's pretty cool in itself too.
Last topic here. You guys, it's hard to explain how iconic this shot is going to be moving forward. The shot of all those cars lined up down the track. Let me get back here. This shot here is just so cool, and so many people in the as we move into more events and things like that. I think this right here is really going to be just an iconic shot forever. I mean, there's people that have bought posters of this to put on their shop walls. I mean, it's going to be really cool. I know we're going to have a problem this year. We're going to be in the grass just because there's so many cars. Hopefully that'll be coming, or I'm sure cars that are already signed up. I mean, the list of the Drag and Drive Shootout is longer than it was last year for sure. And you know how us racers are. We don't show up till the last minute and then sign up that day. But I mean, just some of the iconic cars in this lineup right here, you start thinking about 30 and 40 years worth of experience in those cars and what that means. And then just this shot, man, with the explosion, with the way they're lined up, all that kind of cool stuff. I'm ready.
Yeah, and I mean, we will have them posters at the merch trailer, but we didn't advertise them for sale because we're doing something with those this year. And I mean, I guess there's no reason why we can't say, but every registered racer this year is going to get one of those posters with their registration. So, and then what's left, we will sell at the merch trailer if people want.
How cool, man! That's awesome. Now I got to register.
We were going to put them out there for sale, but we thought, you know what? Let's give it to people. I mean, that's part of the event too. I mean, there's people out there that have events and they want to charge for everything they possibly can, and at the end of the day, you got to survive. But if we can do special things like that, it's more meaningful. That's part of our event too.
Yeah. Hope people understand the investment you just made in posters for them.
Yep.
Because I know what those things cost, and it's expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but like to be in that picture, I mean, awesome. Like the company that's going to be on the track at the same time, at the same place is insane.
Oh man, insane. Yeah. Insane. I'm ready. Okay, so next week, guys, get ready. I'll be there Wednesday night. I'll be doing, the plan is right now is to do live from the show somewhere. I don't know if I'll be in the pits walking around talking, if I'll set up in the bar again. That was a good time. I had the opportunity to, announce that AFCO Racing had come on board at your show there. We were able to announce that. That's pretty cool. I may just start messaging racers and see if they want to come in and just sit down next to me, and we'll have a beer and kind of a drag driver Pete after hours hangout session in the bar and on Wednesday night. So I know, we'll see. I'll let you guys know. We'd love to have you back on then. I know that's probably the worst night possible for you guys to come in and spend 15 minutes, but love to have you.
Wednesday is probably the best night, actually.
Yeah.
We'll be setting up all day. We'll have racers coming in Wednesday that have let us know that they're coming. But, I mean, Thursday, Friday, Saturday will be busy days, but we'll make it through.
Oh yeah, dude! If anybody can do it, it's you guys, man. I'm telling you, we've said it before. Your level of commitment to this community is pretty awesome. And if you guys aren't following Hot Rods by Havlik, you need to get over there and do that, because they're total badasses when it comes to racing, but also promotion.
Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. And there will be a live stream this year, and it'll be on our YouTube, Hot Rods by Havlik. You'll be able to go there and watch it. For anybody that can,
that's awesome.
We will still have it. So
yeah, that's cool. All right, well, I'll see you guys next Wednesday.
All right, see you there.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
We'll see
Later.
you guys.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
How cool, dude! I can't wait, man.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I'm ready. I'm ready. I need to go make a couple quarter-mile rips in the old truck, because Great American Detour was only 1/8 mile. Maybe I need to make a couple rips just to get ready. I don't know. We'll see. I'm down to the last few ricks of wood on the drag and drive trailer that I've used in the past. Maybe I start pulling that thing around for the next week. But anyways, dude, I'm really excited about next week. I think it's going to be really awesome. Man, just the level of car that's going to be at Havliks is insane. So.
Yeah, it always is.
Yep. Bring it on. Well, again, big shout out to Ryan Snyder and the team at Performer Built Transmissions. Appreciate them and all they do for us here. Sir, is that it for us? Should we sign out? 2.5 hours?
That's it. Appreciate everybody that tuned in tonight. Again, all of our race car friends in here making comments, our guests, Paul and the Havliks for being in here. Appreciate all of them, and all the race car friends we're going to see here next week. So once again, appreciate all of you guys. And again, we can't do this without our sponsors. We can't take your old truck. We can't take the 240, go to these events, cover these events, do all these things if it isn't for this great list of sponsors that we have supporting us. So thank you to Summit Racing Equipment, Deechworks, Molly Motorsports, Driven Racing Oil, Howard's Cams, J-Wire Solution, AFCO Racing Products, Performer Built Transmissions, Car Chains 3D, Low Dollar Motorsports, Power Tube TV, and Racing Junk. And we'll see you guys on Saturday morning.
See you.